All right, guys. What's up, team? We got Nvidia earnings. Honestly, the Super Bowl of stocks is here. Where's Nvidia at this morning? Last time I looked at the market, it was blood red. It looks like it kind of healed back a little bit, put a big range, but choppy price action, which is kind of what I thought we would get. If we look at the NASDAQ here, we'll put all this stuff up. Here's the QQQ. It's actually up a little bit over the last few minutes, better than it was this morning, but pretty much red action here. Let's put this here. Better than it was this morning. Again, no green screen. No green screen today. So we're just not going to use our green screen. Yeah, we're just going to keep this one a little bit more fun. Or a little bit less fun and more serious because, you know, Nvidia earnings. Yeah, we got this up and ready. We'll get some music going in a second. And yeah, I'm curious to see what you guys think about markets today. Did my mic unplug? Let me see. Test 1 2 1 2. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if the sound is good. It should be pretty good. Let me get some music playing here in the background. Sound check. What's up, Miles K, Vanessa, Keith, Demetrius. Guys. Again, when we're looking at the Q, we got Nvidia up right here. We'll put up Nvidia is expecting today. Again, this is a massive thing for stocks. Obviously, this is huge, really, really huge. It's expecting 74 cents in share per EPS. So Nvidia Q3 results are expected at 74 cents. EPS on revenue of 32.81 billion is what I'm showing. Report drops after 4 p.m. closing bell. So put that up there too, so you can kind of see it. And again, Nvidia, we'll put a timer up also. We'll do a poll as well here. So we got the timer. Again, we got about 54.5 minutes left before the closing bell hits. And really, the earnings could drop anytime after the closing bell, like anytime after the close. I could stick myself up here in the corner. And yeah, you can kind of see the NASDAQ. We told you guys this morning what we'd probably get is like flat, choppy action mixed with a big range. So big range, but flat, choppy action. And that's probably, you know, what we're going to continue to get leading up to the report. Does Nvidia, we'll do a poll, beat or miss their Q3 earnings? Beat, miss, as expected. Vote on the poll. Let me know what you guys think. What's unexpected? Sound is good. All right, cool. Yeah, Nvidia at 145. You know, the lifetime highs are just under 150. You can see this light green line. It's actually a little bit below this. It's really right around like here, I think is the real lifetime highs, right around 150 up there. So it's a big thing. It's a big thing. We'll see if we hit it or not. Let me drink some tea, wake up a little bit. Hold on, I'm going to turn my lights off because I can't. I honestly think this is like a cooler vibe for the room up here. You know, just a cooler vibe up here. All right. Put a, I don't know, option. Big money will short it. Maybe. Yeah, and again, let me know what you guys think we're gonna get. It's a big day for stocks. It's a big story for stocks. All right. When is Q4? Well, let me see. You can type in Nvidia fiscal year calendar to kind of see what they're looking like. Nvidia does. Today is Q3 2025 earnings. The earnings calls at 5. Nvidia paid a 1 cent quarterly dividend. Pretty small, man. I don't know why they even bother. 1 cent. Maybe they want to work their way up. But yeah, I always pulled this area up here. If we look at Nvidia and we look at their EPS, their earnings per share historicals, again, obviously they've done really, really well here. They've done really, really well over the last few years since the AI boom has really picked up. Yeah, so they have done really, really well. You can kind of see Nvidia, it's at 67 cents a share. Last time EPS, last time was 60. Time before that was 37. Today they're expecting 74, which is kind of blowing these numbers out the water here. Like if we look at this, 74 would look something like, so here's 60. 74 would be like here. So if we come in as expected, we'll have another candle that kind of looks like this. It's not perfect, but that's what the next candle will look like if it comes in as expected. Now, again, I'm not saying it will. And even if we do, there is a timer. Look right here. Aquí, mi amigo. Would you buy any shares of Nvidia before earnings for a jump up tomorrow possible? No, I'm not going to buy up anything ahead of earnings. So not going to buy up anything leading into earnings. I'll buy it up if I'm investing into it, maybe, but not unless I'm investing into it, really. Target dumped down a little bit. I might add some more tomorrow. I got to wait, though, to add. And I did take some profit off up there. So I still like Target right here. It's pretty cheap. The PE ratio is low. It makes a lot of money. So, I mean, I'll probably add more and just sit on it long term. Yeah, somebody's asking me if I buy up stuff before earnings. I like buying weak stocks, to be honest, right? So if I'm going to buy up a stock, I like buying weak stocks. I'm like a bottom feeder in markets. I like to just sit around waiting for a company to dip heavy and buy that. Right. I would agree them not paying a dividend. A 1 cent dividend per quarter is not really doing much anyway. But here, there's their EPS. Their interesting number is their revenue. So if we take a look at their revenue here, let me get my little candlestick out the way. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Yeah, so their revenue is expected at 32.81. So they're expecting a little bit of an increase in revenue. Should look about right here if it comes in as expected. So again, we'll see if it does. But overall, pretty good trend. One of the healthiest companies in the world. You do you, but Target straight up. I mean, explain why tech. And we'll talk about it. I'm not even agreeing or disagreeing with you, but you got to explain reason why that don't have anything to do with politics. Criticize their numbers, criticize their margins, criticize their income, criticize their earnings reports, right? Criticize something that doesn't have to do with politics, and I'll listen. And again, what I'm looking at is value. And with Target dropping 20-25%, I think there's value there. Now, it has to be a long-term investment. So, the only way I'm doing this, if I'm holding it long-term, if I'm right short-term, I'll sell. Like, I bought the dip this morning and then immediately sold, made 3 or 4% on it very, very quickly this morning. And so I don't mind buying the dip as long as I'm going to hold it long-term if I'm wrong short-term, right? And that's the mentality you have to have for it. But yeah. Yeah, all good, X. No worries. High risk, high reward for earnings. Yeah, I mean, 100%. It's just some might call that gambling. We also have Snowflake earnings right after the bell. We got Palo Alto after the bell. We got Jack in the Box after the bell. We got a couple other stocks after the bell. Correct, Ty. Yeah, they're scheduled to drop at 4:20 Eastern Standard Time. All right, but again, here's their revenue graph. And again, their revenue is expected to increase as well here. Again, we'll see what they look like. Here's the last year for Nvidia. revenue wise, 2-year period, 3-year period. EPS again is kind of like margins, is what their margins look like. EPS or margins, they're how much they're earning per share. Revenue is kind of the ceiling of income that they have, right? So like how much they could potentially make based off of their sales. So many bulls on Nvidia is kind of scary. Honestly, I've seen a lot of bearish traders on Nvidia as well. You know, if we look at our poll numbers here, so let's take a look at our poll. 68% think we're going to beat. That's pretty big percentage for my chat. Honestly, for 68% of people to agree, that's actually a pretty solid number. A lot of the time the chat is completely 50-50 split or close to it. A lot of the time it's like 45-55. And so to be 70-15, you know, that's not bad. And then the other 17% as expected. Trading them on a hard dip. Yeah, I mean, I look for stuff more of in like the process of accumulation, blue chip companies, right? So like in theory, when you invest in a company, you're in theory supposed to hold it forever. You're never supposed to sell it. And if you do it like that, you can make a ton of money long term, even if you're wrong about some of them. Most people don't have the discipline to do that. And I don't know if Nvidia right now is the one to do that on. I think Nvidia was the one to buy a year ago, obviously. But about right now, it's up a lot. And I do think we've had, 50% gains in markets over the last 2 years in the S&P and the NASDAQ, about 50% increase, which means we're averaging 25% gains in stocks over the last 2 years. That's a pretty big percentage. That's pretty big appreciation in markets over the last few years. I would not be surprised to see a bear market, like a bearish year thrown in there to kind of balance it out. And I honestly wouldn't be mad. I'd probably use that as a time to accumulate. But yeah, it just depends on what you think. The problem is like a lot of people are so emotionally tied to different directions, good side, bad side. A lot of people play these earnings reports. They buy up massive option positions during market hours like today, and then they just kind of gamble on what the earnings report's going to be. And there's just so much emotion tied up into it. They want it to crash and they want it to run. And most of the time we don't do one of those two things. Usually we're somewhere in the middle. Leading up to earnings reports, a lot of the time we're choppy. And this is something I said earlier where, I thought we would have a big range, but neutral pattern. And that's exactly what we've gotten today. We've got a big range, but a neutral pattern. Slightly red on the day now for Nvidia, though. So we are a little red here. MicroStrategy, I'm assuming you mean MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy's up because of Bitcoin breaking highs. Bitcoin's been just doing stuff. Up to 90, almost 95K for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's just done great. All right, so we got a poll on Twitter as well. If you want to give me a follow on Twitter, it's at Beginner Trades. We got about an hour and 5 minutes or so until the report drops. You can give your boy a follow on there. You can give me a follow at Beginner Trades. Beginner, TRADES. Beginner Trades. I appreciate it. We also have our poll live now, so if you want to give me a follow on this poll, Elon is currently raising $6.5 billion to buy Nvidia chips. What does that even mean? What does what mean? Long-term hold or trade, I'd be getting AT&T or Verizon or Costco. No offense, but AT&T and Verizon seem absolutely horrible as investments. No offense to you. I mean, you might be right. I really don't know. I certainly don't consider AT&T and Verizon a sure thing. I do like Costco, though. Costco's good. But AT&T, weak company, might be obsolete pretty quickly into the future. We're seeing a lot of small communication brands sprout up and ultimately take business away from them. We're also seeing we're seeing an evolution past long-term contracts and cell services. So Verizon, AT&T are losing money. It's just not my favorite long-term investment there. I mean, y'all can argue for it. Again, it's just not my favorite. Mayor is a Bitcoin mining company. You know, why not just buy Bitcoin over the miners, personally? Yeah, I mean, most companies that pay big dividends are terrible depreciating companies, right? So you can take that risk, that's fine, but they talk about your retail traders into buying them because they pay out big dividends, but then they drop 20% on the year or something like that. So yeah, I would just be careful. Here's the poll if you want to vote. Again, Nvidia releases earnings soon. Thoughts on Nike? Nike's too risky for me too. Again, Nvidia under 144s now. What's up, Sam? All right, we're at 144s. The Q is at $500 even here, chat. $500 even. Thank you for your honesty and the fact that you actually read the chat. Yeah, no, all good. Again, AT&T, I mean, look, here's the problem with AT&T. I told this story the other day, right? But this story is absolutely true. My wife and I, we're trying to get a phone service for my daughter. And so we go to AT&T and we're like, hey, we want to get a phone service hooked up for my daughter, right? And so the AT&T representative literally spends like 30 minutes pitching us all this different stuff. And we kept telling them, hey, look, like we just want the basic, phone service, like unlimited call, text, and data like y'all offer everybody else. We don't want a long-term contract. Like we just want to do this normal thing. She literally spends 30, 45 minutes pitching us. She needs our social security number, like all this crap that we don't need. Eventually, my wife and I kept telling her like, hey, we're in a hurry. Like we don't have time to do all this stuff. Eventually, my wife and I just got up and walked away and went and got a different prepaid pay-as-you-go card out of like a bigger store and just left and set that up at home, And so that's the nature of issues with AT&T and Verizon stock, is that they're going to be losing business. People do not want to get locked into long-term contracts. And the only people that really do are older people that are not as tech savvy. Some unusual lag. Are we lagging, guys? Let me know. We seem okay. All right, guys. Again, is it a buy or sell right now for Nvidia? Is Nvidia a buy or sell? Yeah, it's kind of like I think the way you have to look at it is it's kind of like Comcast, AT&T, and their television service, right? Like tech savvy people understand you can go to streaming and just stream and get exactly what those companies are offering you for 3 or 4 times less money in a streaming TV service. That'll give you sports. It'll give you whatever. You can get YouTube TV. You can get Hulu TV. You can get Fubo. You can get all these different options versus paying $300 a month for, AT&T or Comcast. And so, but for what, without month to month, so you don't have to lock yourself into a long-term contract either with it, where Comcast is incredibly shady with their long-term contracts. DCA, sell, risky. That's bad management top down. They're putting too much pressure on the staff to specific. Yeah, 100%. Nike about to touch the 200 EMA. Dollar cost average, 100%. I think DCA long-term is good. I think for Nvidia, though, considering how much it's up, I think it might take longer. If we look at Nvidia here, chat. Here's a 4-hour chart. Nvidia's kind of stagnated. It's got some range leading into this report, but it has kind of stagnated over the past I don't know. It's been on a nice little trend. Nvidia has been on this specific trend right here. I think it's pretty obvious trend too if you put a long-term chart up. I think we can kind of see this trend here for Nvidia, right? And I think that's the main trend that most people on this chart see. We got 150 roughly at the lifetime highs. So we got lifetime highs of 150, and we have this deep long-term trend that's been there since September. Not long-term, I would say medium-term trend. Missed last time. All right, so Nvidia, again, scheduled to release their fiscal 2025 quarter 3 earnings today, November 20th, after market close. This announcement is highly anticipated by investors and analysts, given their pivotal role in technology with AI and microchips, particularly in the artificial intelligence and data centers markets. Analysts project significant growth for Nvidia in quarter 3. The consensus estimate for revenue is approximately $33.28 billion, marking an 84% increase year over year in their revenue. Earnings per share, which is EPS, which is their margins, are expected to reach 70 cents. I have 74 cents, so anywhere between 70 and 74 cents, which is up from 37 cents in the same quarter last year. This big growth is attributed to escalating demand for AI infrastructure and Nvidia's dominance in the GPU chip market. Key revenue drivers is the data. One of the key revenue drivers is the data center segment. It is the previous in the previous quarter, it achieved record revenue of 26 billion, and analysts forecast it to climb to a new high of 29.5 billion in quarter 3, according to Investopedia. So the proliferation of AI applications and the need for advanced computing power have bolstered demand for NVIDIA's data center solutions. And another big contributor to this is their gaming division. Their GPUs are integral to high-performance gaming, and the company's innovations, such as the RTX platform, have maintained strong demand. In the previous quarter, gaming was up 2.86 billion, which is 15% sequentially, and 81% year over year. So again, NVIDIA is expecting their numbers to increase. We can look at some of their numbers here. Here's their revenue trends over the past 3 years. Here's their revenue trends over the past 5 years. And here's their revenue trends over the lifetime of their company's public listing in the stock market. So again, last revenue came in at about 30 million. 30 million. Today they're expecting about 32.81 million. So again, their new revenue estimate is expected at 30. I'm showing 32 to 33 billion, right? One of them I see is 33.28, and these are all different analysts expecting different things. Roughly up 80% year over year, though. So the other big story of today is the Blackwell chip, right? Like, what is the Blackwell chip updates? Last time we heard a couple days ago, one thing that made Nvidia fall is that the Blackwell chips infrastructure were overheating. Jensen Huang has described Blackwell as a, quote, complete game changer for the industry, according to Investopedia. However, a lot of concerns about supply chain restraints as well in the near term. Morgan Stanley analysts have noted that while Blackwell is expected to drive big growth to the company, the full impact may be realized much later in the year due to production ramp-up timelines. So again, Nvidia has tripled in value since the start of the year, closing at 142 as of the latest trading session. It's currently at 144.40, so it is gapping up a little bit, but is back down some as well. Despite this, regulatory scrutiny, geopolitical tensions could impact operations and supply chain stuff. So it's just something to be smart with. Options are specifically primed for 300 billion price swings for Nvidia earnings. This earnings, a lot of people are saying, are a test for chip stocks as software has stolen some of the limelight versus microchips. Yeah, so that is what we are looking at right now. $75x sales is just insane. Everyone too bullish on it. MicroStrategy rolling over finally. While you're still here, if you have an Nvidia pre-earnings, it's a hold until regulatory production of Blackwell in the next quarter. Yeah. They have solved that issue. I'm assuming you're meaning the infrastructure issue for the Blackwell chip. $100,000 chip, MicroStrategy. How much actual revenue can beat estimations? I mean, that nobody freaking knows. I mean, we could beat it by billions, and we've seen that. We could also miss by billions, though, as well. So, you know, we could beat it by billions. We could miss by billions. So either one of those things is a possibility here. Everybody buy a chip so it goes up. What kind? Doritos or Tostitos chips? Which one, man? I'm a nacho cheese kind of guy, but all right. Yeah, looking at our poll numbers here, we do have our poll going live. 70% think they're going to beat. That's a pretty big margin out of 400 votes already. 70% think they're going to beat. 16% think they're going to miss. 16% think they're going to come in as expected. And we'll see. We got 400 people watching already. If a video goes up $15 tonight, what will happen to it tomorrow? Ricky, nobody knows, brother. Nobody knows. Like, that's, again, if Jerome Powell steps outside and bumps his big toe on his right foot at 3 a.m. tomorrow morning, will the S&P 500, you know, break and hold over $7,000 this year? Is basically what you're asking me. I have no freaking idea. Nobody knows that. The only thing we can do is throw numbers out there, sir. ARM showing some strength. Yeah, so microchip stocks in general might be. Super Micro has bounced back a lot as well. SMCI. Yeah, so Super Micro, you know, at 2580s right now, chat 2580. So it finally found somebody that was willing to work on their books. They will be, they always do. The question is, what do they do if they do? Like, what does the price do if they beat? S&P will be delisted if that happens. Maybe, man. All right, chat, 30 minutes. All tech is bouncing. Yeah. Again, looking at our poll numbers here. 67% think beat, 15% think miss, 17% as expected. Yeah, I guess the point is, like, we can ask about business, ask about their numbers. Don't ask me what Nvidia is going to do if a super, like, specific and obscure thing happens. You know, I don't know if it's obscure. If a super specific thing happens, nobody knows. Anybody that genuinely answers that is just kind of making stuff up. I don't know why people are so sure the stock's going to soar. I don't know if anybody's sure. I think they want it to happen, and so there's a little bit of confirmation bias, which I want it to go up too. I want Nvidia to do well. Maybe it is confirmation bias. Again, I really don't know. Earnings are kind of irrelevant here. And again, here's their revenue. Revenue was pretty good. Last time they showed up 30 billion in revenue. Today they're expecting almost 33 billion, or right around 33 billion. Nvidia is bouncing back some here as well. It's back up to almost 145s, over the 200 exponential leading into their earnings report. Earnings are kind of irrelevant here. There's no number two right now. Nvidia is the clear leader for the next 3+ years at least. Well, I don't know if anything's clear. Technically they're scheduled for 420, Ruby. So technically they're scheduled for 420. It doesn't mean that they're going to be there either. Sometimes they come in early, sometimes they come in late. Nvidia has a history of being late, to be honest, on theirs. All right, so we asked people, Nvidia earnings are released soon. Are you bullish or bearish? 82% are bullish. Over 100 votes on Twitter, on X. 80% are bullish, 18% are bearish. The other 2%, I don't know where it went, but... Again, Nvidia earnings, massive story. I'll just be ready. Again, Nvidia right at 145s here, chat. Right at 145s. Is the stream running okay? Let me know. Sound check 1 2 1 2. Is the stream running okay? Let me know. Yeah, sounds fine. I hope they can beat expectations. Stream is good. BNB will it reach 625 again? Last time they dumped to 93. That lost me 4K. Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, in hindsight, you were wrong about getting out. It's at 145 now. You know? So, I mean, maybe, but... Yeah, the NASDAQ here. Like Nvidia now over 145, rebounding all the way back up. And I thought we would be choppy, but have a big range today. Again, Nvidia fighting back up. Isn't it coming out in 46 minutes? It could come out anytime after the closing bell, right? Again, companies might schedule one specific time, but they don't always follow it. So when I schedule the time and the timer, I'm usually setting it for after 4 p.m. You know, after that, we'll wait and see what they do. But they have the tendency to release sometime after 4 p.m. Is what it is. What's your personal feeling about it? My personal feeling about Nvidia is that long-term is going to be fine because EPS margins and revenue have followed it up. Some might still consider them high, but they're not sky high. So like an example of this is their EPS, because their PE ratio is about 60 right now, I think, if I calculate. It's about 60, right? Is it the worst PE ratio ever? No. Is it like crash potential PE ratio? No. But it's a little bit higher than you want it to be. And so short term, maybe a little risky, but long term, it should be fine. And so if you're trying to swing trade it or day trade it, yeah, it's risky to do it. But if you're investing in it long term, I think it'll be fine. But who freaking knows? It depends on how big AI grows. And I think AI is going to grow a lot. And I think we're really still at the baby stages of AI. I think AI's got a long way up. I think we're going to continue to see improvements in not just our quality of life because of AI, but also in terms of production of technology. We're going to have an exponential growth because of AI, right? It allows people to produce technology much faster, much easier, for much cheaper, right? And I think that's going to cause an exponential growth of technology over the next 5 years. And we're really kind of in the baby stages now. And so if that happens, Nvidia is going to be on the forefront of it and they should be fine. But short term, again, it's up a lot. It could be a little risky if you're not going to hold long term and just accumulate in DCA. There is some risk. You know, again, we certainly could crash. And I think if we do crash in markets, it looks something like Nvidia, like dumping in fear, right? Like if Nvidia drops 100%, or not, no, maybe not 100%. 100% would be horrible. That's not going to happen. If Nvidia drops 40%, 50%, that could spark a stock market crash. But again, I think you have, like, every time I hear people tell me that Nvidia is too high, right? I always bring up the same facts, and I really kind of get crickets in return from it. I hear nothing back, right? I hear no real argument. It's just emotions. And people have been saying this since Nvidia was at $30 a share, post-split, $30 a share, right? So what I mean is that Nvidia's EPS and their revenue has followed it up in a similar ratio to the stock price increase. And so what do I mean by that? What I mean is that when Nvidia... let's take a look. So prior to this big AI run in January of 2023, okay? In January of 2023. Or no. Yeah. Wait, is that right? Let me make sure that's right. Yeah. In January of 2023, at the early stages of the big run, Nvidia was at $13 a share. Okay, $13 a share. Percentage-wise, Nvidia has increased from 13 up to 145 where it's sitting now. Okay, so Nvidia is up about 1,000% from 2023, January of 2023. All right, if we look at their actual increases here in EPS and margins and everything like that, it might not be a perfect correlation. We were at 5.9, or let's see, January of 2023. We were at 6 in January of 2023. Well, let's just call it, 6. Today we are at 30. So it's definitely not as big of an increase. So their revenue has increased 400%. Their margins, let me see what their margins are. If we look at the same timetable, 6 cents EPS in January of 2023 for their margins. 6 cents. 6 cents. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, was that 6 or 60? Let me see. It's 6. Today, their EPS is today they're expecting 74 cents. Okay, so their EPS, which is their actual margins, their net profit margins, have increased greater than the stock prices increase in the same period. Their net increase of EPS, which is their margins, are up almost 1,200% in the same period. And so if their margins hadn't followed the stock up, if their money making ability had not followed the stock up in that same 2-year period, we could have an argument for Nvidia's up too much, it's up for no reason, blah, 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 blah. But their margins are up at a very similar ratio to their stock price increase. And I think you have to look at that objectively. Their revenue is up 400% or 500%, so it's up almost the same speed. And I think you got to look at that objectively. I think people are acting like Nvidia is just up and there's no reason for it to be up and it needs to go back down. But they're not looking at the margin increase that we've seen over the past 2 years. Basically, AI is impacting Nvidia's bottom line in a similar ratio to the ratio in which their share price is increased. And I think you have to look at that objectively before you say Nvidia's up too much or Nvidia is not reasonably valued right now. And again, anytime I bring this point up, I very rarely get an argument back. And so, 69 PE super stretched. But to be fair, the PE ratio was high before this run, right? And it's not unheard of to see, like, Amazon recently had a pretty high PE ratio as well. They've recently, over the last year, fought its way back. And so PE ratios generally are shorter term to look at. Like, they can fight their way out. If they continue to do good margin wise, they can fight their way out of a high PE ratio within a year. Yeah, if it crashes, I'll buy more. $75x plus sales is crash potential. In what way? So a company doing 75 times better in sales, in business, than they were, I don't think that's the big weak argument you're looking for, Drew. Again, maybe. I'm not saying it's not going to crash either. Oh, you're talking about it's 75x its value. You're talking about the PE ratio is what you're talking about. But still, or no, you're talking about sales. I don't know, man. I think their PE ratio has been high for a few years, and we could crash, right? But I think the ratio at which their earnings have gone up have followed the stock price increases. Basically, if the stock price had gone up and their margins hadn't gotten better in a similar ratio, then they're arguable too high extended, right? But the ratios and margins have followed them up in a similar ratio to their margins have followed them up in a similar ratio as the share price has increased, And so I think, I don't know, man. I think it's possible for sure. I think with microchips and AI, you have to look at the big picture, though, which is that what is AI doing to the world? How influencing is it to the world? And I think it's highly influencing. But we'll see. Yeah, I mean, you can look at Supermicro Semiconductor's sketchiness, but I don't know if that's a reasonable criticism for Nvidia. They can't control what other companies do. Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably add to Target. I still think Target's got a very low PE ratio. It's like 18 or 17 right now. It might be better than that. So I'll probably add more, but I have a small position. I took profit. I took a half of it off at like 130 something. And so we got out pretty safe here. All right, guys, Nvidia dipping down some, but again, on a nice long-term trend. How does Nvidia's earnings affect the John Jones legacy as the pound-for-pound GOAT? I don't know. If Nvidia hires Tom Aspinall as CEO, I think it'll wildly affect it. Hey, good luck. Cool. What's up, Plus? I only got my hopes high. We'll see. Maybe the Nvidia crash were the friends we made along the way. Expected revenue for the next year is 160 billion, so it's barely low 20s, but with almost 60% margins. Yeah, no, the margins are great. Price to sales ratio. Yeah, it's all good. At first I was like, yeah, PE ratio, but I was like, no, PE ratio is EPS, so it's the margins. But I don't know. Is price to sales really a good metric to look at, though? It doesn't seem like it would be. No? Like price to sales. Like an example of this is like you'll see something drop shippers do. Drop shippers constantly put up these big like, oh, I did 100K in sales last year. It's like, yeah, 100K in sales is what, like 15K, you know, maybe less than that if your margins are 15%. It's not the big flex you think it is. And so looking at sales or revenue versus share price, I don't know if that's the best correlation. I think you have to look at margins, which is PE ratio, right? And their PE ratio is objectively high. You know, a good PE ratio is like 15 to 20. I think they have like 60, 65 or something like that the last time I checked. And so their PE ratio is not good. I'm not even saying it is. I'm more so just criticizing that metric, the price to revenue. I don't think that's a good one. I think revenue can be all kind of things. Revenue studies growth, and growth is good, but you know, I think you got to look at margins. Yeah, exactly. You can have $1 trillion in sales, but if you spend 0.99 billion to do it, you know, or no, if you spend if you spend 999 billion to do it, is it really that good? No. Yeah, I hope it doesn't crash either. Your stream is awesome. That's why I tune in every day. I may not comment, but I'm here. Thanks, Demetrius. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you, sir. I like your channel. Are you going to cover snow earnings? Yeah, we're going to cover all of them. We're going to cover snow. We got Snowflake earnings, Palo Alto, Jack in the Box, Nvidia, obviously. And so we're going to cover all of them. Is it fair to say that big caps are down more than 15%? I don't know if that's fair to say. I don't know if anybody really knows. I think it depends on what happens. It depends on what the numbers are. I would give it like if we have really good or really bad numbers, obviously we have a greater chance of moving big percentages. But I don't know if anybody really knows except for like big institutional heads. Outside of that, I don't think anybody really freaking knows here. What's your opinion on? I like Palantir as a company. Palantir's up a lot though, but I like it generally. $62. Palantir's had one of the best like mid-cap runs of anything. They got added to a big exchange. They ran up to $60-something a share. Same here. I don't comment all the time, but I want to say personally, I appreciate what you do because you've helped me among other YouTubers grow as a trader. Hey, thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. It's good to see kind words. You know, usually we just got a bunch of insecure little kids here. And so I appreciate you guys. Y'all should speak more. You know, sometimes the haters are the loudest. And so it's nice to see, you know, friendly words here. Thank you. Appreciate it. I mean, we give everything away for free. Don't even claim to be good. And so people that are hating on me are usually just kind of upset with their own situation usually, but it's nice to see. I appreciate you guys. People like to throw around sales multiples because many outside of the investing world think that 2 times revenue is high because that was a standard for retailers with 3% margins. Yeah. And it just means they're earning. Yeah, hit the like button. I got a goal for this stream. I want 1,000 likes. 1,000 likes. That's my goal. I'm going to cry if I don't get it. All right. Yeah, we go live every day. Yeah, I mean, Facts. I'm just going to call you Facts. Anna. I'm just going to call you Anna. I'm not going to try to pronounce the first word because there's too many people trying to talk me into saying a curse word. And so I always just abbreviate usually. Peloton. Honestly, Peloton. I hate Peloton as a company. Got really big, started burning money. What do you think about results we beat? I really don't know. I hope we beat. Looking at our poll numbers here, 66% of people think we're going to beat out of about 800 votes. 16% think we're going to miss. 17% think as expected. Yeah, it's a big stream, guys. A big stream. Be ready. Nvidia earnings. What do you guys think here? I'm ready. Again, Nvidia expecting 74 cents and 74 cents estimate EPS. EPS is their margins. Their margins. Revenue of 32.81 roughly. We're going to call it 33 billion is what they're expecting here. 33 billion. Again, we'll see. We'll see. Does Jensen Huang really have an Nvidia tattoo? Genuine question. Does Jensen really have an Nvidia tattoo? Nvidia push it up. It's at 150, 146s right now, chat. 146s. All right, so we broke 1,000 here. Can we get 5,000 concurrent viewers today? Can we get 5,000 concurrent viewers? I'm going to throw it in sub-only mode as well, chat. So I appreciate the love. I'm really shooting for 150,000 subscribers. Can we break 5,000 concurrent viewers? Didn't Nvidia stock price go down last earnings even though they beat? Yes, they did. So their last earnings report, you can take a look at it here, was right here. Wait. Yeah, so their last earnings report was right here. Late August. They ended up posting 68 cents, better than the 60 cents expected. And look, they actually had a pretty big downward run here. They ended up decreasing substantially on this run. Like, look at this big decrease. They ended up like gapping down and really going on a bearish trend for a month or so after their last earnings report. Again, Nvidia very flat, very choppy today. Hey, thank you to Anthony. He said you are goated. Watch you before every earnings call. Thanks so much. Didn't Nvidia stock price go down last earnings even though they beat? My delta is insane. Beat and unpaid. Good luck, dude. Just be careful not to gamble here. No, I'm not going to set a stop. Again, I'm holding Nvidia long term. If I hold it, it's not going to be something where I set like a short term stop just because I'm afraid of earnings. And I think if you're investing in something long term, you got to be okay with losing on an earnings call. But who knows, man? I don't know what Nvidia is going to do. Expectations are dope. We're calling the last earnings home run, but not a grand slam. Beat, but the stock will drop. That's kind of the issue with the high PE ratio. Well, I don't know if it's an issue, but all right, guys, you ready? No way they miss. I think it's possible. Bro, I got these blinds up. I don't know what I do. Look. You know, I had a lot of people complain about the blinds. Like, bro, the sun. I got these things up. My wife hates them, but they're better than they were. Now I just have like a dot. I'm like the Rudolph of the stock market. 4 billionaires trying to outbid each other for vanity data centers. Hey, thank you, Cool Breeze. I appreciate it. Is the Blackwell shipping already? I think that's what they're going to update on. And again, we're going to go through a lot of this stuff. And so again, Nvidia scheduled to release their Q3 fiscal year 2025 earnings today after market close. It's highly anticipated by both investors as well as analysts. They have a pivotal role in the tech sector, particularly in AI and data centers. Analysts are expecting huge growth for Q3 fiscal 2025. The consensus estimate for revenue is around $33 billion, which marks roughly an 83 to 84% increase year over year in revenue. Again, almost 100% increase year over year in revenue. EPS, which is earnings per share margins, basically, are expected to reach at least 70 cents a share, potentially up to 75 cents a share, which is up from 37 cents in the same quarter last year, basically 100% year over year. This big growth is attributed to escalating demand for AI infrastructure and their dominance in GPUs. Some key revenue drivers here, chat. So we're going to look at some key revenue drivers. One of them is the surge in data center segment. In the previous quarter, it achieved record revenue of $26.5 billion, and analysts forecast it to climb to a new high of almost $30 billion in Q3, according to Investopedia. This proliferation of AI applications and the need for advanced computing power have definitely bolstered demand for Nvidia's data center solutions. And another big contributor is the gaming division for Nvidia. If you ever go buy a gaming computer, one of the biggest specs is what kind of graphics card they have. And so their GPUs, their RTX platform have maintained strong demand. In the previous quarter, gaming was up almost $3 billion, up 15% sequentially and 81% year over year. The biggest story potentially of the day today, the biggest story I would say is the Blackwell chip update. The Blackwell chip update is incredibly relevant and important. And investors are keenly awaiting on Nvidia's Blackwell AI chip update. CEO Jensen Huang has described the Blackwell chip as a, quote, complete game changer for the industry, end quote. However, a lot of people have concerns about this, supply chain restraints that could affect near-term revenue, short-term revenue. Morgan Stanley have noted that while Blackwell is expected to drive big growth for Nvidia, we might not see that impact short-term. It might take long-term, quarters in the future before we see that big impact of the Blackwell chip, even though it is something that's like hyping up Nvidia massively right now. It might be some time until we see the true large impact of this. So in terms of market performance, Nvidia stock has gone up tons. Obviously, remarkable growth for Nvidia stock, nearly tripling in value since the start of the year. It's right around 146 a share right now as of today. 146 a share. The closing bell happens in 4 minutes exactly here, chat. 4 minutes exactly, right around 146, just under it. So we'll see what happens there. It reflects a lot of investor confidence, but some people are also, speculating that we might be up too much here. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah. Another thing to pay attention to, potential regulatory scrutiny here. Regulatory scrutiny. We'll see what that means. We did a poll on X. Again, follow me on X at Beginner Trades. 82% are bullish. 18% are bearish on this poll for Nvidia. Chat. Yeah. Yeah, we'll cover snow as well. Snow is scheduled to release at 4:05. Dude. Listen, when we cover everything before everybody else, sometimes we're going to get them wrong, and that's okay. All right, guys. Definitely up way too much. You don't become more valuable than Apple that fast. Well, I think if AI takes over the world, maybe. Jensen the GOAT. Yeah, so Snow is expecting 15 cents a share on about $900 million in revenue. We also have Jack in the Box, Palo Alto Networks, and a couple other ones that are big too. All right, we still got 2.5 minutes left. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. Hey, what's up, Goose? Yeah, I'm going to guess that they're going to beat EPS, beat revenue, and stay flat or neutral. But who freaking knows, man? My guess is they're going to beat EPS, beat revenue, and stay flat. Again, though, I have no freaking idea. Really, genuinely no idea. Locked in at 300% or 300 shares for this earnings. Good luck, Jim. Remember, we could certainly go down. I'm ready to lose my marbles. Peter Pan's got him. There's a chance for a miss because Nvidia is late on releasing RTX 5090. Nvidia better not mess up my tech rally, bruh. Yeah. Where's Bitcoin? Is Bitcoin up today? That would be perfect. If Nvidia beats and causes a bull run and then Bitcoin breaks lifetime highs. I mean, Bitcoin has been breaking lifetime highs. But it's still under 100K. Last year, they beat a lot and stay flat. Hi from South Africa. Hey, what's up, man? Good afternoon. Y'all yell at me to switch out my headphones. That's one thing I got to do. All right, chat. We got about 1 minute here. We got 2,000 viewers so far at the closing bell today. 2,000 people here watching. Stick around, guys. Nvidia earnings are coming soon. We got about 1 minute left. 1 minute left before the closing bell. And we're going to cover all the big earnings that drop at the closing bell here. Let me know. List right now in chat. Beat or miss. Let me know right now. Do you think they beat or miss here, team? I told you guys it would probably be flat, Jay. Jay says, what kind of bad market today? I told you guys it would probably be flat. They're going to miss. They're going to miss. They're going to miss. That's okay. Maybe they do miss. I don't know. Beat. Looking at our voting here, 1,500 votes, 70% say beat, 14% say miss. There's always a chance for anything. Yeah, they drop right around 420, but they also could release much earlier than this. It's why I always tell people, like, people always like to be super specific with stuff like this, but it really is something that, like, they could drop anytime, right? So here's the closing bell, guys. Here's the closing bell. They genuinely could drop anytime at the close. All right, so there's the close. All right, let's watch. So let's put Snowflake up on the left side here. There's the closing bell. All right, so we got Snow up. Jack in the Box releases right at the closing bell today too. Peloton up big. And you'll see when the numbers are out. You can see the numbers right here. Be ready here, chat. I'm going to put this timer up to when they're technically scheduled to release. Yeah. Yeah, so technically they're supposed to release at 420. Everybody's favorite number, 420. I'm not sure if that's when they're going to release. We got about 18 minutes left. Yeah, so this is technically when they're scheduled to release. Nvidia a lot of the time releases late, though. So the last time I remember Nvidia releasing, I think they were late. And everybody kind of sat there cooking, waiting for this number to come out. Watch Snowflake, though. Snowflake technically scheduled. Snowflake's a software company. They're scheduled to release at 4:05 market time in about 3.5 minutes. So watch some of these tech stocks. Let's see what we get. Prepare yourselves here, chat. 20 minutes. Blue balls. Sorry, dude. I'm sorry. Honestly, I do 4 p.m. because that's when again, I've been got before like that, where they're like, yeah, we're going to release at 4:30, and then they drop it right at 4:01, and I'm like scrambling to cover it. And so we just try to schedule it. You know, we change the title to after 4 p.m. Because that's when it is, sometime after 4 p.m. Thoughts on Riot? Riot should be benefiting really well from Bitcoin going up. They're a crypto miner. Yeah, good luck. All right, we got 3,000 viewers here. Chat, can we break 5,000 concurrent viewers for Nvidia earnings today? Can we break it? We got 20 minutes to do it. I thought Riot made video games. Riot is a crypto miner, right? Am I wrong? Did Riot pivot out of the crypto mining business? I thought Mara and Riot were both crypto miners. We're talking about Riot stock. You're talking of... yeah, special cryptocurrency mining computers, Bitcoin mining company. Yeah, that's right. 3,000 quality viewers. Hey, I appreciate you guys. I really do. 2 different companies. Oh, Riot Gaming Company. Yeah, I gambled a few hundred minutes before the bell. When does Nike go up? I have no idea. Yeah, we're talking about crypto miners here. Bitcoin, if you want to take a look at it. All right, Chad, we got about a minute before Snow is scheduled to release. All right, so Bitcoin, though. Here's Bitcoin futures, which means that we're about $800 less than this, right? So right now we're at about 94, a little bit over 94K for Bitcoin, close to all-time highs. But again, SNOW releases very soon. It's a tech company, relevant for sure. It's up to 130s ahead of this, right under the previous closing price, basically flat on the day. Snow is expecting 15-cent profit on $900 million in revenue. And again, they're releasing in about 45 seconds. Fed Collins says additional rate cuts are needed as policy is still restrictive. Personally, I do think rate cuts will more so negatively affect us, but I'm okay with them because they'll benefit my real estate investments. You know, so for selfish reasons, I'm okay with rate cuts. But all right, Chad, here we go. Snow is up. Snow just rebounded here. I don't know if this is from earnings or what. Snow up here, guys. There's the earnings report right now. Snow, look at this move. All the way up to 140s. Wow, look at Snowflake here. Wow. Snowflake posted a third quarter loss per share of 98 cents, a third quarter loss of 324.3 million, third quarter revenue of 942 million, better than the expected number here. What were their EPS? Net revenue retention rate of 127%, product revenue of 900.3 million in the third quarter, representing 29% growth over growth for Snowflake. I'm trying to see what their EPS was. I hate when companies do this. They make it like a needle in a haystack, like literally trying to find a needle in a haystack. But they did well. They're reacting positively to it. Snowflake. So Snowflake posted a 98-cent loss per share. Actually, I already reported that. 900.3 million in revenue. So better than expected EPS and revenue. Or no. Big miss in terms of EPS. 98 cents a share. That's a big miss. Why are they up so much? Oh, well. I'll put this up on the screen here, chat. Percent growth, 542 customers with trailing 12-month product revenue greater than $1 million, 754 Forbes Global 2000 customers, remaining performance obligations of 5.7 billion, representing 55% year-over-year growth. Sense. They expected a 15-cent profit. I'm not sure how they missed that much and they're up this much. What a percentage move here. Did anybody see that candle for Nvidia? Still waiting on Nvidia here, chat. Still waiting. Y'all do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell here. Chat, I appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. It's a big candle for Nvidia here. We're still waiting, but... So Snowflake agrees to acquire open data integration platform Data Volvo. All right, we're rating, guys. It should be at 420. Market time 420. We got about 4,000 viewers. $12 minutes left. 12 minutes. Yeah, look at Snowflake. Wow, kind of a crazy amount here. So again, Snowflake. I'm going to put all this is all Snowflake's numbers right here. Nvidia's fallen down to the volume weighted average price right now. Look at this. It's not the earnings though. The earnings are going to cause a bigger move than this for sure. Yeah, we got 365 likes. I'd love 1,000 right now. I really would. I'd love 1,000 likes today. Everything we do here is free. I don't charge for anything. We cover all the major earnings reports, all the major economic reports, all the big data. We cover it completely free, live, right here on YouTube. We don't sell a course. We don't sell a service. We don't claim to be experts. We don't tell you guys the market's going to crash every other economic report like a lot of these YouTubers do. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. Let's keep the growth up. Nvidia very flat, Chad. We still have about 10 minutes left before their earnings come out. 10 minutes. Nvidia's, they're technically expected at 420, market time 420. We got a big timer right next to me here, chat. So we got a big old timer right here. You're the best, buddy. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, I'm going to have to change this to 420. Everybody's favorite number here. Still waiting. Snowflake is loving life right now, though, man. I really still don't know how Snowflake is up so much. Supermicro just got a NASDAQ non-compliance notification, but they said they have no immediate effect on listing. I'll put this up on the screen. PANW is also out. Again, PANW currently at 372s. 372s. Look at PANW here. So they're gapping down a small amount. Snowflake ended up posting 20-cent profit after adjusted EPS. This is why Snowflake had good numbers. Their adjusted EPS was 20-cent profit. So they did better than expected EPS and revenue. And so we have a positive reaction here to good numbers. Palo Alto posted 156 versus 148, revenue of 2.14 versus 2.12. Nvidia very flat right now, very choppy. Fed Collins says some additional rate cuts needed as policy was still restrictive. 8 minutes left, guys. Again, hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Everything we do here is free. We don't charge a penny for any of it. We don't sell a course. Don't sell a service. Don't claim to be an expert. Cover all this stuff for free live. We trade the live opening bell every day. We day trade, swing trade, invest. Break down all this big stuff. CPI, inflation data, retail sales, unemployment, GDP data, PCE data, Jerome Powell press conferences. We stream it all for free. Don't cost a penny for it. We have no paywalls behind our content either. So, hey, subscribe. We're almost to 150,000. Yeah, Jack in the Box reported already. All right, here we go. I support anyone who looks like Connor McDavid. Bro, you know how many people like, I must look like everybody. Like, this is all, people say I look like Forrest Griffin, Ryan Felipe, Paul Felder. All right, who's the other one? I've gotten a bunch of different ones, dude. Like a bunch of different ones, to be honest. I must look like everybody. Everybody's like, hey, you look like such and such. I kind of take offense to the Forrest Griffin one, though, to be honest. You know, that's like a dagger to my heart. You know. Anyways, Nvidia moving back up. It's at 146. Yeah, I go on Top Step TV. I'm going on there tomorrow. Bryce Mitchell? No, I don't look like Bryce Mitchell got the life taken out of him by Josh Emmett, man. Cheddar Bob? I've heard that one too. Yeah. All right, guys, we're at 146. All right, guys. Here we go. We're at 146. PA and W break it down. Snowflake still making moves. We still got 6 minutes here, chat. Can we break 5,000 concurrent viewers? I think we can. We got 6 minutes to get 500 extra people here. I think we got that. Right? I'll be on Top Step TV tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time, so 2 p.m. Eastern. Hey, thank you. You look like John London. I do. I'm happy if Nvidia goes to 151. I want to see it break lifetime highs. I want to see it break lifetime highs, and I think it's close too. I think it's close. Is that Alex Pereira? Yeah, I look just like Alex Pereira, bro. Top 3 worst day trader of all time ever in the world. Definitely right here. Remember, guys, I got to get my disclaimer out there. Remember, I am terrible, have no idea what I'm talking about, might be wildly wrong about anything and everything I say. Do not copy me. I'm not an investment professional, and I'm certainly not liable if you lose money. Always make your own assessment. Trade responsibly, guys. I do trade off stream. You're not going to see all my trades. Do not copy me. Understand CFTC 4.41. Hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations. Now that top 3 plug and disclaimer is done. 5 minutes, chat. 5 minutes. What you hiding under that hat? Bro, I got the thickest hair of anybody in the world, dude. Like, if y'all, like, I'm not saying I'm not receding, like, a little bit, but it's certainly not that bad, right? Like, I got so much hair, bro. I got too much hair here that it's hard to control. And so if you're trying to make me feel bad because you think I'm balding, it's the opposite, bro. Look at my hair, dude. Top 3 hairs in the world right now. But yeah, I'm definitely not balding. 150. I just want to see us break 150. 150 is breaking lifetime highs. He somewhat resembled Morgan Freeman. Yeah. I got too much hair at this point in time. I'm pretty sure I have my dad's hair. They say it comes from your mother's father, but my mom's dad was bald at like 20-something. And so my dad still got hair. He's 70. So I'm hoping I take after him. All right, guys. 4 minutes. Nvidia is moving up in anticipation of the earnings. We got 4 minutes left. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream here, though. Let's see how this affects the NASDAQ. There's Snowflake still moving up pretty heavy here. Here's the NQ. NASDAQ technically green in anticipation of this. We got 4 minutes. I'm not judging you if you lose your hair. Bald is beautiful. I'm not mad, you know. Do you day trade for a living? I mean, I market for a living, and I cover stock market news for a living as kind of like I would call myself a mix between like an economic reporter and a trader, but I certainly don't live off of my trading profits. You know, nobody on YouTube really does. They're almost all marketers. I mean, let's be real here. All right, guys, we got 3 minutes. Not going to lie, you're the best trading buddy to have. Hey, thanks so much. All right, we got 51 here. We broke our record. Or we broke our, not our record. We broke our goal. 3 minutes left here, chat. 3 minutes. Nvidia so choppy pre-earnings. Yeah, I mean, most big companies are going to be sideways, though, leading into their earnings report. So 2.5 minutes left, chat. Yeah, the problem with people that say they live off of their trading profits is like this. Somebody will have a $20,000 account, and they'll take a massive gamble, and they'll make like 5K like one day, right? And if they keep doing it, they're going to lose their whole account, right? And then somebody completely independent of all of it will come up to them and be like, hey, how much money do you make trading? And they'll be like, yo, I make 5K a day. And it's like, no, you don't. You took a bunch of risk and gambled your account and made 5K one day. And if you keep doing it, your whole account's going to go bye-bye. But you're out here flexing like you make $5,000 a day. Get off the internet. You know, stop lying to people to try to look cool. Experienced traders recognize the BS in it all. I'm not saying there's not people that can make 5K a day, but you got to have a big account to do it. Anyways. All right, chat. We got a minute and a half left. Watch Nvidia. Again, a lot of the time Nvidia is late. A lot of the time Nvidia is late. Thesis on MicroStrategy. Well, MicroStrategy benefits from Bitcoin's rise. And so a bet on MicroStrategy would be a bet on Bitcoin. And I think short-term Bitcoin is going to break 100K sometime this year, right? And so I think MicroStrategy short-term's probably a pretty safe bet, but I have no freaking idea what I'm talking about. Do not copy me. I'm not an investment professional. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Not liable if you lose. If you buy MicroStrategy and it crashes tomorrow, it's not my fault. All right, guys. Nvidia earnings. Less than a minute here. Chat, less than a minute. Ross is the man. Ross Poldark? No. All right, guys. We got 30 seconds. 30 seconds. My wife likes this show called Poldark. All right. 20 seconds. All right, now is actually time. Hit the live button, guys. Hit the notification bell. All right. And here is 420 right now. Right now, 420. Now, this is technically when Nvidia is scheduled and they have not released yet. Is this it? Candlesticks froze. Maybe they're just not out yet. Still waiting for Nvidia earnings, guys. Nothing yet. There's a big candle. Is that it? There's a big candle. There's a big candle. All right, we're at 144s. It's not the biggest candle, though, here. All right, Nvidia down to 140s. Nvidia posted 78% profit per share versus 75 expected. 35.1 billion versus 33.1 billion expected. And look at this drop, guys. Nvidia down to 138. There's their numbers right there. Nvidia posted 78 cents, 75 cent estimate, 55.1, 3.1 estimate. I'm sorry, I bumped my mic, but yeah, Nvidia BDPS beat revenue. I'm not sure why they're down. They BDPS beat revenue. The Nasdaq is actually falling down pretty dramatically here. It's at 20.6 thousand. Nvidia has negatively reacted, but it's honestly not that big of a reaction here for Nvidia earnings. Y'all can hear me, right? Yeah, y'all can hear me. All right, cool. Yeah, sometimes the first move is the wrong move. Again, they BDPS beat revenue. Yeah, it muted right when I was saying the numbers. Honestly, just bad luck. Can you explain why it's falling while the data is good? Because it's not always a super like parallel reaction with their earnings. You know, if it was, everybody would be rich. Everybody would sit around and buy with good EPS and buy with good revenue. Like the real moves are happening leading up to it. Yeah. Again, so look at us start to bounce back. Again, sometimes the first move is the wrong move. We have the numbers on the bottom of the screen here. So like, look, we have the numbers right here if you really want them. But Nvidia BDPS beat revenue. We're going to look at the rest of their numbers here from their earnings report as well. So AI is transforming every industry, country, and company. Enterprises are adopting agentic AI to revolutionize workflow. Industrial robot investments are surging with breakthroughs in physical AI, and countries have awakened to the importance and development of AI infrastructure, according to Jensen Huang. Nvidia says demand for Hopper and anticipation for Blackwell in full production are incredible. We're going to give you guys these numbers here. Nvidia is starting to bounce back. It's starting to go pretty green. Nvidia sees quarter three adjusted EPS of 81 cents versus 75 cents estimate. Sales of 35.1 versus 33 expected. So again, Nvidia numbers, we're going to put a lot of these numbers up in chat. Nvidia is starting to bounce back. It's now at least flat relative to where it was prior to the earnings report. It's now flat. Again, I'm showing adjusted EPS of 81 cents versus 75 cent estimates here. So they're doing pretty good. They're doing pretty good. Again, they got demand for Hopper and Blackwell in full production are incredible, according to Jensen. Look, so we're going to put a lot of these numbers up in chat here, guys. We're going to put a lot of these numbers up in chat. The age of AI is in full steam, preparing a global shift to NVIDIA computing. Again, so we're going to put a lot of these cliff notes of everything up in chat. Data center revenue at 30.8 billion here, chat. 30.8 billion. And again, we're kind of choppy. Revenue guidance at 37.5. Quarter four guidance. You can see the guidance numbers right here, chat. So slightly better than expected quarter four guidance. Right here, you can kind of see that. Again, 37.5 plus. For quarter four revenue. Slightly better than expected here. 449. Shout my mic cord. I got a different mic cord I can use next time. I'll have to do it. Test. 1 2 1 2. Are we good audio wise? Yeah, I mean, here. This might actually fix it. Hold on. All right, let me know. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Is that better? You took mic drop literally. Honestly, Nvidia, look, my mic can cut out for 10 seconds and you guys are going to be okay here. All right. It's not going to affect the earnings call. Is that better? Top 3 worst mics in the world right now. All good now? Okay, yeah. Your mic dropped the market. Hey, y'all be all right. It was choppy. It seems fine now. Okay, good. I appreciate it. Yeah, so now we're going to cover the full earnings call live here at 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. in 30 minutes. We got the full earnings call live, so stick around. So, again, full call stream live here at 5 p.m. We're going to cover the full call. We're pretty flat for an Nvidia earnings report, though, to be honest here. Meta earnings call. Yeah, well, I'm not a multi-billion-dollar company. Give me some, again, if y'all think I should get a new mic, give me some options for new mics. What are some good options? Worst mic in the world. I got a sound bar over here. All right, look at that big downwick. So we got a little bit of buying pressure showing up. Again, 81 cents adjusted EPS. HyperX, sure. Samson. Like, let me talk to Samson. Fly me to the moon. If you know, you know. 3 minutes left, chat. 3 minutes left. Again, Nvidia's flat. We haven't done anything. We put all the numbers up on screen. Blackwell production shipments scheduled to begin in quarter 4 of 2025 and will continue to ramp into the fiscal year of 2026. So here's an update on the Blackwell chip. So again, look, Nvidia says Blackwell production shipments scheduled to begin in quarter 4 2025, and they're going to continue to ramp into fiscal 2026. They says Hopper and Blackwell systems have certain supply constraints. Demand for Blackwell seems to exceed supply for several quarters in fiscal 2026. Data center revenue at 30.8 billion versus 28.8 billion expected. We're putting a lot of these numbers up in chat for you guys to read here, guys. So we're putting a lot of these numbers up in chat. Sure, Mike. I've had some people recommend it. I'll buy one right now if it'll make you guys happy. All right, Nvidia earnings call. 5 p.m. All right, guys. We got the Nvidia call coming out soon. Stick around. We're going to put a timer up. We got about 30 minutes left. 30 minutes. Technically, we got about 31 and a half minutes left. There we go. Nvidia, pretty flat, pretty choppy. We're putting the updates up in chat here. Is that my dog, Rosie? Hey, baby. What's she doing in here? Huh? That's a good girl. Yeah, you're just a good girl. Can y'all see her? Look at this dog right here. Just a good dog. Hey. That's just a good girl. You're just a good girl. All right. Hey, out. Out. Thank you. All right, guys. So I guess we're going to end this poll. Now that Nvidia is pretty flat, it hasn't really moved that much. Everybody's saying Nvidia was going to crash and all this stuff. You know, again, we're pretty flat. We're pretty neutral. We're pretty sideways. We're going to end this poll now. 70% of people thought they were going to beat that. 70% of people were correct out of 5,000 votes. 5,000 votes. We're going to do another poll. Are you bullish or bearish on today's Nvidia earnings call? And so again, are you bullish or bearish on today's Nvidia earnings call? Again, are you bullish or bearish? We got the poll going live right now. Vote on that poll. We're going to stream the full call live right here like we always do. So the full call will be streamed live here as always. And numbers good. Yeah, numbers are pretty good. Pretty solid. Stock price is too high. The earnings call starts in about 30 minutes. Bullish. Yeah, that's me on Top Step TV, Tessie. So yeah, I'll be on there tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Yeah, it's me. It's sideways, John, but it's catching a downtrend. Yeah, it's definitely looking bearish over the last 8 minutes or so. It's definitely looking more bearish than normal. So looking a little bit more bearish, but again, we got time. I think, again, the full call is going to be streamed live here. You can see how it impacts the NASDAQ through NVIDIA. You can kind of see how it impacts the NASDAQ. So NVIDIA's Q3 professional visualization revenue is at $486 million versus $481 million expected. Auto revenue at $449 versus $360. So you can see how some of their businesses are doing better. Q3 data center revenue came in just under $31 billion versus $28.5 billion expected. Gaming revenue at $3.3 versus $3 billion expected. So they beat basically everywhere. I'm kind of surprised to see them down this much. Not good enough. I mean, you guys got to understand, like, one of the things here, and this is really, really important. If you're struggling to trade earnings reports, listen to what I'm about to say. It's incredibly important that you do, right? If you're struggling. Also, guys, check out Top Step. Top Step is a funded account program in futures. If you want to day trade, do not fund your own account. Almost all day traders lose money. If you deposit 5, 10, 15, 20, 30K into your own account, trying to day trade it, you're almost certain to lose it. It makes absolutely no sense to. Instead, try Top Step. Top Step's the most legit funded program in the world. The base one's only $49. And if you were going to pay for real-time data in a demo account outside of it, it might cost about the same. but they give you a 50K demo in futures. And in the futures market, you can trade the NASDAQ here. You can see how similar it moves to Nvidia. You can day trade the S&P, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies. Patterns are super, super similar to blue chip stock patterns. But if you pass $3,000 in profit while following their rules and conditions, they fund you 50K with a 90% split. And they've paid out over $100 million, almost $125 million since 2020. They've been around for over 12 years. It's a perfect middle ground to teach you how to day trade. And almost all day traders lose. And so it teaches you how to day trade with limited risk. If you pass the test and you get the 50K funded account, you got a 90% split anyway, which is similar to funding your own account, just noticeably less risk. And honestly, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. And so if you want to check it out, great way to learn how to day trade. It's like a perfect middle ground where you're risking something, not the full extent of risking your own 5, 10, 15, 20K. And most people lose anyway. And so it's a beautiful risk. Most day traders lose. It's a lot cheaper to lose here than it is to lose elsewhere, most of the time, at least. But again, they're an affiliate of mine. I'm biased because I get paid by them. And so if you want to check them out, here is the link. A great way to help support the channel. Again, if you want to learn to day trade, do not fund your own account. You're just going to lose money. But again, I'm biased. Understand all these rules, chat. All right, guys. I use TopStep X, and TopStep X, if you're going to sign up, TopStep X has 0 commissions. So it's even better because there's no commissions. And so you can trade multiple micro contracts with there's only 74 cents in fees per contract with 0 commission. And so that's a huge edge. So if you're going to sign up, I would recommend TopStep X. It's the best one in the game. Yeah, I mean, so people are mad at me. Like, listen, I'm going to tell you guys the truth here, which is that we are certainly here to make money. If y'all think I'm spending 4 hours, 5, 6, 7 hours a day live streaming on YouTube out of the kindness of my heart, y'all are absolutely crazy. Of course, I'm not doing that. I'm certainly here to make money. I just give everything away for free. I don't sell a course. I don't claim to be good. I report market news, and we make our money on the back end, right? But I'd much rather follow somebody that's honest about it than somebody else who says that they're teaching because they just like teaching out of the kindness of their heart. Total nonsense, fugazi nonsense, right? I would much rather be real with people and tell them the truth. And I would trust somebody like that more than somebody that claims to be the greatest day trader of all time and then sells me a course based off of that on publicly available content, right? When I say I don't sell a course, I mean it. I don't sell a course. I don't have any paywalls behind my content. You can access everything in my live stream. It doesn't cost anything. Even becoming a member doesn't cost anything. You can become a member. You're not really going to get anything extra. It's just a way to help support the channel because everything's free here, you know, but you better believe we got sponsors and we have affiliates that we're going to make money from. Of course we do. But most of the affiliates we use are good for traders. All of them. I mean, TopStep's great for traders. It saves them money. And so I hope that makes sense, right? Who won that LSU versus Bama game? Bama did. Don't leave me alone, bro. Leave me alone. LSU lost to Florida last week as well. I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to talk about it. All right, so Nvidia completely sideways. Thank you so much, Randy, for your donation, brother. I appreciate the $10 Canadian. I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much. Shout out to Randy. Top 3 worst trader of all time. Top 3 kindest hearts in the world right now. Hey, thanks so much. Hey, shout out to Crypto Life, where I made it to multi-millions. Never used a prop fund in my life. Self-made. Much love to you, brother. Hey, thanks so much, Crypto. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you, man. But I don't think you can knock people that use prop firms. I think like people who knock prop firms are the same people that would probably lose funding their own account. And so almost all new traders are going to lose, day trading at least. And this is objectively true. Anybody that day trades for a long time knows it. And so like, I think if you have paper accounts that cost $50, you can't really knock like a $50 TopStep account because you're getting that paper account, but you're also getting some extra stuff that teaches you how to trade. And I think that's a powerful, valuable thing that a lot of people underestimate the power of that. I know when I first got started, I deposited like 4,000 or 5,000 into my own account and I lost it in like weeks. And so I think relative to something like that, it's going to save traders money, most likely. They're still going to lose a little bit, but a lot of the times the ones that get super upset with it usually are ones that have unreasonable expectations for it. You got to use it as a tool that teaches you how to trade, because if not, you would just fund your own account, you know. Yeah, we trade live every day at the opening bell. We day trade, we swing trade, we invest. My TOS account's got about 30,000 in it right now. It's actually pretty small. Earlier in the year, we had like 100 and something K in it, like liquid. But I ended up buying a rental property. And so, you know, we took some of it out, but we still trade regularly. I bought up Target this morning. And I'll probably average into Target over time. I know this might ruffle feathers too, but Target's got a low PE ratio. It's under 20. Honestly, it still looks good to me. I'm going to probably add to it. Put Jensen Huang out. We're waiting here, brother. Looking at our polls, let me see. 72% are bullish, 74% are bullish, 26% are bearish. We got all these donations, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Is up 245% year to date good? I mean, it definitely ain't bad. You know, you gotta have reasonable expectations, chat. Like, you'll hear people acting like they're like, listen, if you can make 30% in a year on average over a long period of time, you're super, super elite. Don't get it twisted. Don't listen to these people that tell you can make 5% a day reasonably, right? Like, usually those are the newest traders out there that don't really understand why imply you could. And so just slow and steady wins the race, guys. You can gamble and take big risks and all that stuff, and that's fine. But, you know, the smart one's slow and steady. Nvidia guidance was slightly better than expected. Nvidia expected for guidance numbers here. I think I put it in chat earlier. So Nvidia expected Q4 gap came in at 73% and 73.5%, 73.5%. So Nvidia for fourth quarter revenue guidance was this right here. They came in at I don't know why I can't say in. They came in at 37.5 bill plus or minus 2% versus 37.1 billion expected. So slightly better than expected Q4 revenue guidance for Nvidia. All right, chat. You guys ready? Yeah, I mean, no offense, Sai. Sai's asking if I can shout out these early streams. Of curse words and everything like that. And so anytime somebody says, hey, can you shout out ABC? I'm not freaking doing it, bro. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. Happy birthday to them. Or no, shout out to your kids, bro. That's what I'll say. Yeah, it's not that the sound died because I turned off my headphones, guys. The sound died because I turned off my headphones and switched out for these headphones, which are what I'm going to listen to the earnings call on. And so that wasn't the mic. Can you shout out my shout out? Yeah, all good, side, but I can't do it, brother. I'm sorry. Shout out to your kids, brother. You know, 2% a day is a millionaire within 2 years. It's probably more than that, brother. It depends on, I mean, it's all relative to how much money you have. Like, if you want to see the actual math behind 2% a day, you're never going to earn it. But let's say you've got $5,000, right? A reasonable sum of money for most people, and you make 2% a day. This is the formula for it. I'm going to have to click a lot. I have to do another type of formula. Like, watch. I'll show you what happens in 3 months. 3 months. right? So what, 60 trading days is about 3 months, because every day is not a trading day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 2% a day, you're going to earn $22,000 out of $5,000, right? In 3 months, right? And so, yeah, you'll probably be, 2 years seems about right to be a millionaire. It's just, again, it's an unreasonable expectation, right? If you can genuinely earn 2%, I tell people this all the time. If you can earn 2% daily, if you can earn 2% regularly and you have a large sample size to do it, and you're not risking your whole account to do it, Goldman Sachs will hire you right now. They'll pay you $100 million a year right now for that system, for that strategy. They'll hire you right now if you could, right? The reason you don't see a lot of these YouTubers out here claiming to make that working at Goldman Sachs, being 100 millionaires, is because they're all full of crap. Let's just be real here for a second. Like, they're all full of crap. Not all of them. You got outliers. There's some people that can do it, but it's certainly not the majority of them. And it's important for people to be resilient and understand like what it is. Yeah, but 38 sessions is nothing, Peter, right? And it's kind of like the martingale roulette strategy, where you might make money, lose your whole account, right? And so I don't know. Great content in the channel, my friend. This $20 donations are symbolic. I learn a lot every time, man. God bless you and your family. Hey, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for the donations today, guys. Got a lot of nice donations, so thanks so much. Yeah, if you can make 50% a year, bro, you're elite of the elite. You know, again, the real problem is you got people selling courses out here claiming that you can make all these obscene, like unrealistic returns if you just buy their course or buy their service. And if they were truthful with people, like, hey, look, like, we'll teach you how to do it, but it's super difficult and you'll most likely lose money, nobody would buy the course, right? So what do they say? They say, oh, look how easy this is. Look at my Maserati. Look at my Lamborghini. Look at my mansion. That's probably an Airbnb. Look how great I am, right? Cough, buy my course. Cough, cough, right? Like, that's what they do. And that blinds traders into thinking that you can take $5,000 and turn it into $1 million in 6 months. And traders end up taking a larger, more unnecessary risks because of that. Once you have 13 million in your account, you might make 10% on a trade. Yeah, but 10% of 13 million is a big number, brother. Like, that's $1.3 million. It's 10% of 13 million. You know, it's not about whether you can do it. Like, listen, I have an okay amount of money in my TOS account right now. If I really wanted to make 20%, I could take a crazy risk and just kind of gamble to the wind and take a crazy risk and probably make 10, 20%. Right. And I could do that over and over again. And, you know, until it breaks, I could think I'm the greatest trader of all time in the world. Right. Definitely top 3. But eventually the check's going to come for trading like that. And if you risk your whole account over and over again, you're going to make money most of the time. Right. If you add the losses, you're going to make money most of the time. Right. Eventually it's going to break and you're not going to make money, and it's going to keep going down and you're going to lose your whole account. Right. And this blinds a lot of people into thinking they've got some super good system or strategy when really they don't. They're just kind of adding to it. And it's another reason why most traders lose. So you just got to be smart and understand like the statistics behind it. Yeah, I mean, NASCAR, I'm not really going to argue about anybody in particular, especially any guru in the penny stock market. It's all good. It's all love here. I'm not bringing up any specific names or anything like that. Well, the discount is $49 R1. Like, normally it's 150 or whatever it was. The results are already out, Bob. So the results are already out. 97% in a year is absolutely feasible. I mean, it's feasible. I don't know if it's feasible, right? Like, it's possible. But making 98% a year is certainly not easy. You know, like it's certainly not like simple to make 98% a year. You got to take some risks in order to make 100% in anything. You know, the real reason you can understand this, guys, is follow what big money does, right? Big money's not easily making 100% a year, right? Big money uses a lot of money to leverage into things. And if they can make 10, 15%, 20%, 30% a year, they're loving freaking life right now. They don't chase hyper risk assets, you know, because usually they don't need to. They can earn the safe money over long runs and get out on top. They don't need to take crazy amounts of risk. I don't hate them. I just don't trust them, NASCAR. It's possible with a small account. Yeah, if you risk the whole account, sure it is. Such negative talk here. I mean, I'm not really being negative. I think it's all open to discussion, and y'all can agree and disagree with me here. I'm trying to tell people reasonable, like, if you like want to reasonably stick around in markets trading, you can't buy the guru course. Like most of the time, the people that act like that are people who have already spent money on super expensive courses, and like confirmation bias causes them to get mad. Like if I try to talk somebody out of a pyramid scheme, they're going to get mad at me for it, right? Like they're not going to get mad at the people scamming them because it's easier to live in delusion and pretend. And so I'd rather, if I'm going to be responsible with my YouTube channel here, I got to be honest with people, right? And this is the truth behind it all. I'd rather be real with people and have some people get mad at that truth. So Vassal says, hey, thank you for the donation. He says, hey, buddy, did Nvidia beat expectations? Yes, they beat EPS revenue expectations. They beat EPS, which is earnings margin expectations, and they beat revenue expectations as well here. Here, let me put this up. So Nvidia posted 78-cent EPS versus 75 cents expected. So that's their margins. They actually posted 81 cents adjusted EPS margins versus roughly 75 expected. They posted revenue of 35 billion roughly versus 33 billion expected. Hey, thank you, Brandon. Well, swing trading's different, Corey. I'm talking about like mostly day trading. Yeah, you can make 1,000% in 5 minutes with options. You can also lose 1,000%. Yeah, most of the stuff in courses you can pay for, like you can find it for free. But it's got do you have a option calls? No, I'm not holding options. What ends up happening though, guys? We got 10 minutes. 10 minutes left. But what ends up happening? Rosie, out of here, baby. Get out of here. Come on. Get out of here. Thank you. Yeah, but what happens is that people end up buying these courses, right? And what's in these courses is mostly publicly available content, like content that you can find available for free out there on the internet. But because they've spent so much money on it, they're desperate to believe it was justified, right? So if I spend $6K on a course, best course of all time ever in the world, doesn't matter what's in that course, I'm going to tell myself it's the best course ever to act like I made a smart purchase. And that's why you hear a bunch of people kind of regurgitating the same thing back. If I try to give people reasonable risk, like reasonable risk boundaries, they might get mad at me and say I'm hating or being negative because it kind of hurts to hear. But again, there's also outliers who are genuinely able to make a lot of money day trading. They're just not most people. Oh yeah, trading in the zone, Mark Douglas. Yeah, 2% is possible, but it's certainly not going to be every day. Is my point. Why it went up, why it went down, what is the projected upside move? The projected move doesn't matter because at this point in time, the numbers are out and we're pretty much sideways. Do you guys remember what somebody asked me what I thought Nvidia would do prior to the results coming out. Does anybody remember what I said? Does anybody remember? Look, I'll repeat it. What I said was that I thought Nvidia would beat EPS, beat revenue, but stay choppy because it's up a lot already, right? I pretty much nailed that one. Did I not? Look at this. We're basically choppy. We're completely flat from this report. We're down slightly, but we hit it right on the head there. I'll take it. Top 3 predictor in the world right now. No, because your mic was probably cutting out. Yeah, that might be true. All right, guys. Hey, we got Nvidia. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would learn trading in a book form either. You know, I feel you. I get it. I don't know if I'd learn in a book form. It's probably not the move. And again, if you haven't already, guys, check out TopStep. If you want to learn to day trade, TopStep's the way, in my opinion. TopStep, they give you a demo. They test your skill with it. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you only lose what you pay for it. In this case, it gives you a really unique, like, middle ground of pressure. You're still risking something, but are you risking, 20K trying to day trade to look cool in markets? No. These are the parameters. You got to make 3K in profit without losing 2K, 5 contracts max. In the futures market, you can day trade the S&P, the Dow, the Russell, the NASDAQ. Patterns are super, super similar if you trade indices to blue chip stock patterns, and there's no PDT rule. If you use TopStep X, again, 0 commissions, tons of cool stuff on TopStep X. And there's a lot of other packages here. But if you want to check it out, it's a great way to help support the channel. And honestly, it's just a good way to learn how to day trade. Like, you have some pressure, but if you lose, I'm out $49 a month. It's not the end of the world. Again, a paper account's going to cost that in some places with real-time data. And so I think it just makes sense, right? And again, if you want to watch us day trade one, we day trade one live at the open every single day during the week. Still, remember, top 3 worst trader of all time ever in the world. I do trade off stream. You're not going to see all my trades. Not even claiming to be a good trader. Chat. All right, guys, we got 5 minutes. Understand CFTC 4.41. All that good stuff right there on screen. Psychology is fine. Like, you can learn trading psychology through a book form. You certainly don't want to learn price action, trends, technical analysis through a book form. Like, and to be fair, trading in the zone is mostly psychology, based it on probabilities. Like, rest in peace to Mark Douglas. Good dude. Seemed like a smart guy. What do you think after the call? I don't know. It depends on what they say during the call. Touchdown. Reminiscence of a stock operator? The OG, the big OG. Will this call do anything to stock price? It'll probably do something. We don't know what, though. Where's Bitcoin at despite all this stuff? Is Bitcoin negatively reacting to this too? Let me see. All right, we're at 95K for Bitcoin. Still slightly green on the day. Hey, thanks, Touchdown. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you, sir. Hey, help me hit 150K. We're getting really close. Yeah, we need less than 400 subscribers to hit 150,000. We might hit it during this call. We might not. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there that we're going to hit it. And listen, guys, I'm not going to say y'all are being stubborn, but we got 3,000 people watching right now. 3,000 people. We just need a little baby 350 subscribers. Just try it one time. It might feel good. Do it now. Everybody's doing it. I would never pressure you to, but if you don't, I'll hate you forever and potentially ban you for life. I'm just joking. Kind of. Subscribe. Yeah, knock it off, NASCAR. There you go. I know it's all good. I'm just messing with half of you guys. I know I usually don't push subs this much, but I'm almost to 150. And just 150 psychological level is big and nice. Yeah. All right, guys, here we go. We got less than 3 minutes left. You guys ready? And I'm going to put a long-term chart of Nvidia, basically flat from this report. Slightly green. Or slightly red, I mean, but pretty flat. We're waiting here. Y'all can hear the music, correct? Why the clock? Because the clock times it. The clock's actually a little late, to be honest here. So I'm going to turn the clock off. Again, we got about a minute and a half left. You guys ready? Subscribed to your channel a long time ago. Hey, thank you. Hey, thank you, Cole. Thank you, Baker, Tim. Appreciate it. Thank you, Albert. Other than the disclaimers, he's a pretty chill guy. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you were me and you had a large following on YouTube talking about like super nuanced and emotional stock and finance predictions, wouldn't you spam disclaimers everywhere too? No. Again, I don't sell a course. I don't even claim to be a good trader. I never tell anybody like what the stock's going to do. I tell them what I think might happen, but I always wrap it all in a disclaimer. And so I'm pretty safe, but with that said, in order to be safe, I got to put disclaimers up everywhere. Yeah. My tagline used to be "Don't sue me." All right, guys, here we go. Y'all can hear the music, correct? I just want to make sure you can hear. The earnings call starts now. Guys, y'all can hear the music, correct? My tea has run out. Can hear the music? All right, good. All right, I'm going to mute the background. And I'm going to unmute the call so I can start it as soon as it happens. I'm also going to turn off the music here. Also, guys, join our Discord. We got a completely free Discord right here. So as soon as the call comes on, tell me if you can hear it. Let me know if the sound's good. It should be pretty good. But join our Discord. Completely free Discord. Doesn't cost anything. I'll put it up in chat right now. Also, give me a follow on Twitter at Beginner Trades.
Good afternoon. My name is Jael, and I'll be your conference operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to Nvidia's third quarter earnings call. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question during this time, simply press star followed by the number 1 on your telephone keypad. If you would like to withdraw your question, press the star 1 again. Thank you. Stuart Stecker, you may begin your conference.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to NVIDIA's conference call for the third quarter of fiscal 2025. With me today from NVIDIA are Jensen Huang, President and Chief Executive Officer, and Colette Kress, Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer. I'd like to remind you that our call is being webcast live on NVIDIA's Investor Relations website. The webcast will be available replay until the conference call to discuss our financial results for the fourth quarter of fiscal 2025. The content of today's call is NVIDIA property. It can be reproduced or transcribed without our prior written consent. During this call, we may make forward-looking statements based on current expectations. These are subject to a number of significant risks and uncertainties, and our actual results may differ materially. For a discussion of factors that could affect our future financial results and business, please refer to the disclosure in today's earnings release, our most recent Forms 10-K and 10-Q, and the reports that we may file on Form 8-K with the Securities and Exchange Commission. All our statements are made as of today, November 20, 2024, based on information currently available to us. Except as required by law, we assume no obligation to update any such statements. During this call, we will discuss non-GAAP financial measures. You can find a reconciliation of these non-GAAP financial measures to GAAP financial measures in our CFO commentary, which is posted on our website. With that, let me turn the call over to Colette.
Thank you, Stuart. Q3 was another record quarter. We continue to deliver incredible growth. Revenue of $35.1 billion was up 17% sequentially and up 94% year on year, and well above our outlook of $32.5 billion. All market platforms posted strong sequential and year-over-year growth. fueled by the adoption of Nvidia accelerated computing and AI. Starting with data center, another record was achieved in data center. Revenue of $30.8 billion, up 17% sequential and up 112% year on year. Nvidia Hopper demand is exceptional, and sequentially, Nvidia H200 sales increased significantly to double-digit billions, the fastest product ramp in our company's history. The H200 delivers up to 2x faster inference performance and up to 50% improved TCO. Cloud service providers were approximately half of our data center sales, with revenue increasing more than 2x year on year. CSPs deployed Nvidia H200 infrastructure and high-speed networking with installations scaling to tens of thousands of GPUs to grow their business and serve rapidly rising demand for AI training and inference workloads. Nvidia H200-powered cloud instances are now available from AWS, CoreWeave, and Microsoft Azure, with Google Cloud and OCI coming soon. Alongside significant growth from our large CSPs, Nvidia GPU regional cloud revenue jumped 2x year on year as North America, EMEA, and Asia Pacific regions ramped Nvidia cloud instances and sovereign cloud buildouts. Consumer internet revenue more than doubled year on year as companies scaled their Nvidia Hopper infrastructure to support next-generation AI models, training, multimodal and agentic AI, deep learning recommender engines, and generative AI inference and content creation workloads. Nvidia's Ampere and Hopper infrastructures are fueling inference revenue growth for customers. Nvidia is the largest inference platform in the world. Our large installed base and rich software ecosystem encourage developers to optimize for Nvidia and deliver continued performance and TCO improvements. Rapid advancements in Nvidia software algorithms boosted Hopper inference throughput by an incredible 5x in 1 year and cut time to first token by 5x. Our upcoming release of Nvidia NIM will boost Hopper inference performance by an additional 2.4x. Continuous performance optimizations are a hallmark of Nvidia and drive increasingly economic returns for the entire Nvidia installed base. Blackwell is in full production after a successfully executed mass change. We shipped 13,000 GPU samples to customers in the third quarter, including one of the first Blackwell DGX engineering samples to OpenAI. Blackwell is a full-stack, full infrastructure, AI data center scale system with customizable configurations needed to address a diverse and growing AI market, from x86 to ARM, training to inferencing GPUs, InfiniBand to Ethernet switches, and NVLink, and from liquid-cooled to air-cooled. Every customer is racing to be the first to market. Blackwell is now in the hands of all of our major partners, and they are working to bring up their data centers. We are integrating Blackwell systems into the diverse data center configurations of our customers. Blackwell demand is staggering, and we are racing to scale supply to meet the incredible demand customers are placing on us. Customers are gearing up to deploy Blackwell at scale. Oracle announced the world's first Zettascale AI cloud computing clusters that can scale to over 131,000 Blackwell GPUs to help enterprises train and deploy some of the most demanding next-generation AI models. Yesterday, Microsoft announced they will be the first CSP to offer, in private preview, Blackwell-based cloud instances powered by NVIDIA GB200 and Quantum InfiniBand. Last week, Blackwell made its debut on the most recent round of MLPerf training results, sweeping the per GPU benchmarks and delivering a 2.2x leap in performance over Hopper. The results also demonstrate our relentless pursuit to drive down the cost of compute. Just 64 Blackwell GPUs are required to run the GPT-3 benchmark compared to 256 H100s, or a 4x reduction in cost. NVIDIA Blackwell architecture with NVLink switch enables up to 30x faster inference performance and a new level of inference scaling throughput and response time that is excellent for running new reasoning inference applications like OpenAI's O1 model. With every new platform shift, a wave of startups is created. Hundreds of AI native companies are already delivering AI services with great success. Through Google, Meta, Microsoft, and OpenAI are the headliners. Anthropic, Perplexity, Mistral, Adobe Firefly, Runway, Midjourney, Lightricks, Harvey, Codium, Cursor, and Abridge are seeing great success, while thousands of AI native startups are building new services. The next wave of AI are enterprise AI and industrial AI. Enterprise AI is in full throttle. NVIDIA AI Enterprise, which includes NVIDIA NeMo and NIM microservices, is an operating platform of agentic AI. Industry leaders are using NVIDIA AI to build co-pilots and agents. Working with NVIDIA, Cadence, Cloudera, Cohesity, NetApp, Nutanix, Salesforce, SAP, and ServiceNow are racing to accelerate development of these applications with the potential for billions of agents to be deployed in the coming years. Consulting leaders like Accenture and Deloitte are taking NVIDIA AI to the world's enterprises. Accenture launched a new business group with 30,000 professionals trained on NVIDIA AI technology to help facilitate this global build-out. Additionally, Accenture, with over 770,000 employees, is leveraging NVIDIA-powered agentic AI applications internally, including one case that cuts manual steps in marketing campaigns by 25 to 35%. Nearly 1,000 companies are using NVIDIA NIM, and the speed of its uptake is evident in NVIDIA AI Enterprise monetization. We expect NVIDIA AI Enterprise full-year revenue to increase over 2x from last year, and our pipeline continues to build. Overall, our software, service, and support revenue is annualizing at $1.5 billion, and we expect to exit this year annualizing at over $2 billion. Industrial AI and robotics are accelerating. This is triggered by breakthroughs in physical AI, foundation models that understand the physical world. Like NVIDIA NeMo for enterprise AI agents, we built NVIDIA Omniverse for developers to build, train, and operate industrial AI and robotics. Some of the largest industrial manufacturers in the world are adopting NVIDIA Omniverse to accelerate their businesses, automate their workflows, and to achieve new levels of operating efficiency. Foxconn, the world's largest electronics manufacturer, is using digital twins and industrial AI built on NVIDIA Omniverse to speed the bring up of its Blackwell factories and drive new levels of efficiency. In its Mexico facility alone, Foxconn expects to reduce a reduction of over 30% in annual kilowatt hour usage. From a geographic perspective, our data center revenue in China grew sequentially due to shipments of export compliant Hopper products to industries. As a percentage of total data center revenue, it remains well below levels prior to the onset of export controls. We expect the market in China to remain very competitive going forward. We will continue to comply with export controls while serving our customers. Our sovereign AI initiatives continue to gather momentum as countries embrace NVIDIA accelerated computing for a new industrial revolution powered by AI. India's leading CSPs include Tata Communications and Zoda Data Services are building AI factories for tens of thousands of Nvidia GPUs. By year-end, they will have boosted Nvidia GPU deployments in the country by nearly 10x. Infosys, TSC, Wipro are adopting Nvidia AI Enterprise and upskilling nearly 500,000 developers and consultants to help clients build and run AI agents on our platform. In Japan, SoftBank is building the nation's most powerful AI supercomputer with Nvidia DGX Blackwell and Quantum InfiniBand. SoftBank is also partnering with Nvidia to transform the telecommunications network into a distributed AI network with Nvidia AI Aerial, an ARAN platform that can process both 5G RAN on AI on CUDA. We are launching the same in the US with T-Mobile. Leaders across Japan, including Fujitsu, NEC, and NTT, are adopting Nvidia AI Enterprise, and major consulting companies, including EY, Strategy and Consulting, will help bring Nvidia AI technology to Japan's industries. Networking revenue increased 20% year-on-year. Areas of sequential revenue growth include InfiniBand and Ethernet switches, SmartNICs, and Bluefield DPUs. Though networking revenue was sequentially down, networking demand is strong and growing, and we anticipate sequential growth in Q4. CSPs and supercomputing centers are using and adopting the NVIDIA InfiniBand platform to power new H200 clusters. NVIDIA Spectrum-X Ethernet for AI revenue increased over 3x year-on-year, and our pipeline continues to build with multiple CSPs and consumer internet companies planning large cluster deployments. Traditional Ethernet was not designed for AI. NVIDIA Spectrum-X uniquely leverages technology previously exclusive to InfiniBand to enable customers to achieve massive scale of their GPU compute. Utilizing Spectrum-X, xAI's Colossus 100,000 Hopper supercomputer experienced zero application latency degradation and maintained 95% data throughput versus 60% for traditional Ethernet. Now moving to gaming and AI PCs. Gaming revenue of $3.3 billion increased 14% sequentially and 15% year-on-year. Q3 was a great quarter for gaming, with notebook, console, and desktop revenue all growing sequentially and year-on-year. RTX demand was fueled by strong back-to-school sales as consumers continue to choose GeForce RTX GPUs and devices to power gaming, creative, and AI applications. Channel inventory remains healthy, and we are gearing up for the holiday season. We began shipping new GeForce RTX AI PCs with up to 321 AI TOPS from ASUS and MSI, with Microsoft's Copilot Plus capabilities anticipated in Q4. These machines harness the power of RTX ray tracing and AI technologies to supercharge gaming, photo and video editing, image generation, and coding. This past quarter, we celebrated the 25th anniversary of the GeForce 256, the world's first GPU. The transforming computing graphics to igniting the AI revolution, NVIDIA's GPUs have been the driving force behind some of the most consequential technologies of our time. Moving to ProViz. Revenue of $486 million was up 7% sequentially and 17% year-on-year. NVIDIA RTX workstations continue to be the preferred choice to power professional graphics, design, and engineering-related workloads. Additionally, AI is emerging as a powerful demand driver, including autonomous vehicle simulation, generative AI model prototyping for productivity-related use cases, and generative AI content creation in media and entertainment. Moving to automotive. Revenue was a record $449 million, up 30% sequentially and up 72% year-on-year. Strong growth was driven by self-driving ramps of Nvidia Orin and robust end market demand for NEVs. Volvo Cars is rolling out its fully electric SUV built on Nvidia Orin and Drive OS. Okay, moving to the rest of the P&L. GAAP gross margin was 74.6% and non-GAAP gross margin was 75%, down sequentially, primarily driven by a mix shift of the H100 systems to more complex and higher cost systems within data center. Sequentially, GAAP operating expenses and non-GAAP operating expenses were up 9% due to higher compute, infrastructure, and engineering development costs for new product introductions. In Q3, we returned $11.2 billion to shareholders in the form of share repurchases and cash dividends. Well, let me turn to the outlook for the fourth quarter. Total revenue is expected to be $37.5 billion, plus or minus 2%, which incorporates continued demand for Hopper architecture and the initial ramp of our Blackwell products. While demand is greatly exceed supply, we are on track to exceed our previous Blackwell revenue estimate of several $billion as our visibility into supply continues to increase. On gaming, although sell-through is strong in Q3, we expect fourth quarter revenue to decline sequentially due to supply constraints. GAAP and non-GAAP gross margins are expected to be 73% and 73.5% respectively, plus or minus 50 basis points. Blackwell is a customizable AI infrastructure with 7 different types of NVIDIA-built chips, multiple networking options, and for air and liquid-cooled data centers. Our current focus is on ramping to strong demand, increasing system availability, and providing the optimal mix of configurations to our customer. As Blackwell ramps, we expect gross margins to moderate to the low 70s. When fully ramped, we expect Blackwell margins to be in the mid-70s. GAAP and non-GAAP operating expenses are expected to be approximately $4.8 billion and $3.4 billion, respectively. We are a data center scale AI infrastructure company. Our investments include building data centers for development of our hardware and software stacks and to support new introductions. GAAP and non-GAAP other income and expenses are expected to be an income of approximately $400 million, excluding gains and losses from non-affiliated investments. GAAP and non-GAAP tax rates are expected to be 16.5%, plus or minus 1%, excluding any discrete items. Further financial details are included in the CFO commentary and other information available on our IR websites. In closing, let me highlight upcoming events for the financial community. We will be attending the UBS Global Technology and AI Conference on December 3rd in Scottsdale. Please join us at CES in Las Vegas, where Jensen will deliver a keynote on January 6th. And we will host a Q&A session for financial analysts the next day on January 7th. Our earnings call to discuss results for the fourth quarter of fiscal 2025 is scheduled for February 26, 2025. We will now open the call for questions. Operator, can you poll for questions, please?
Finally, man. Honestly, their mic is horrible.
At this time, I would like to remind everyone, in order to ask a question, press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. We'll pause for just a moment to compile the Q&A roster.
Honestly, they need to get their mic fixed. This is ridiculous. This is like the second one in a row. It sounds like she's literally underwater. And
as a reminder, please limit yourself to one question. Your first question comes from the line of CJ Muse of Cantor Fitzgerald. Your line is open.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you for taking the question. I guess just a question for you on the debate around whether scaling for large language models have stalled. Obviously, we're very early here. But we'd love to hear your thoughts on this front. How are you helping your customers as they work through these issues? And then obviously part of the context here is we're discussing clusters that have yet to benefit from Blackwell. So is this driving even greater demand for Blackwell? Thank you.
Foundation model pre-training scaling is intact, and it's continuing. As you know, this is an empirical law, not a fundamental physical law. But the evidence is that it continues to scale. What we're learning, however, is that it's not enough. That we've now discovered two other ways to scale. One is post-training scaling. Of course, the first generation of post-training was reinforcement learning human feedback, but now we have reinforcement learning AI feedback and all forms of synthetic data generated data that assists in post-training scaling. And one of the biggest events and one of the most exciting developments is Strawberry, ChatGPT 01, OpenAI's 01, which does inference time scaling, or what's called test time scaling. The longer it thinks, the better and higher quality answer it produces. And it considers approaches like chain of thought and multi-path planning and all kinds of techniques necessary to reflect and so on and so forth. And it's intuitively, it's a little bit like us doing thinking in our head before we answer a question. And so we now have three ways of scaling, and we're seeing all three ways of scaling. And as a result of that, the demand for our infrastructures is really great. You see now that at the tail end of the last generation of foundation models, we're at about 100,000 hoppers. The next generation starts at 100,000 Blackwells. And so that kind of gives you a sense of where the industry is moving with respect to pre-training scaling, post-training scaling, and then now, very importantly, inference time scaling. And so the demand is really great for all of those reasons. But remember, simultaneously, we're seeing inference really starting to scale up for our company. We are the largest inference platform in the world today because our install base is so large, and everything that was trained on Amperes and Hoppers inference incredibly on Amperes and Hoppers. And as we move to Blackwells for training foundation models, it leaves behind it, a large install base of extraordinary infrastructure for inference. And so we're seeing inference demand go up. We're seeing inference time scaling go up. We see the number of AI native companies continue to grow. And of course, we're starting to see enterprise adoption of agentic AI really is the latest rage. And so we're seeing a lot of demand coming from a lot of different places.
Your next question comes from the line of Toshiya Hari of Goldman Sachs. Your line is open.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much for taking the question. Jensen, you executed the mask change earlier this year. There were some reports over the weekend about some heating issues. On the back of this, we've had investors ask about your ability to execute to the roadmap you presented at GTC this year, with Ultra coming out next year and the transition to Rubin in 26. Can you sort of speak to that? And some investors are questioning that. So if you can sort of speak to your ability to execute on time, that would be super helpful. And then a quick part B on supply constraints. Is it a multitude of componentry that's causing this, or is it specifically, CoWoS, HBM? Is the supply constraints, are the supply constraints getting better? Are they worsening? Any sort of color on that would be super helpful as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So let's see. Back to the first question. Blackwell production is in full steam. In fact, as Colette mentioned earlier, we will deliver this quarter more Blackwells than we had previously estimated. And so the supply chain team is doing an incredible job working with our supply partners to increase Blackwell, and we're going to continue to work hard to increase Blackwell through next year. It is the case that demand exceeds our supply, and that's expected as we're in the beginnings of this generative AI revolution, as we all know. And we're at the beginning of a new generation of foundation models that are able to do reasoning and able to do long thinking, and of course one of the really exciting areas is physical AI that now understands the structure of the physical world. And so Blackwell demand is very strong. Our execution is going well, and there's obviously a lot of engineering that we're doing across the world. You see now systems that are being stood up by Dell and CoreWeave. I think you saw systems from Oracle stood up. You have systems from Microsoft, and they're about to preview their Grace Blackwell systems. You have systems that are at Google, and so all of these CSPs are racing to be first. The engineering that we do with them is, as you know, rather complicated, and the reason for that is because although we build full stack and full infrastructure, we disaggregate all of this AI supercomputer, and we integrate it into all of the custom data centers in architectures around the world. That integration process is something we've done several generations now. We're very good at it, but there's still a lot of engineering that happens at this point. But as you see from all of the systems that are being stood up, Blackwell's in great shape. And as we mentioned earlier, the supply and what we're planning to ship this quarter is greater than our previous estimates. With respect to the supply chain, there's 7 different chips, 7 custom chips that we built in order for us to deliver the Blackwell systems. The Blackwell systems go in air-cooled or liquid-cooled, NVLink 8 or NVLink 72, or NVLink 8, NVLink 36, NVLink 72. We have x86 or Grace, and the integration of all of those systems into the world's data centers is nothing short of a miracle. And so the component supply chain necessary to ramp at the scale, you have to go back and take a look at how much Blackwell was shipped last quarter, which was 0, and in terms of how much Blackwell total systems will ship this quarter, which is measured in billions, the ramp is incredible. And so almost every company in the world seems to be involved in our supply chain, and we've got great partners. Everybody from, of course, TSMC and Amphenol, the connector company, incredible company, Vertiv and SK Hynix and Micron, Spill, Amcor, and KYEC, and there's Foxconn and the factories that they've built, and Quanta and WeWin, and Dell and HP and Supermicro, Lenovo, and the number of companies is just really quite incredible. Quanta, and I'm sure I've missed partners that are involved in the ramping of Blackwell, which I really appreciate. And so, anyways, I think we're in great shape with respect to the Blackwell ramp at this point. And then lastly, your question about our execution of our roadmap. We're on an annual roadmap, and we're expecting to continue to execute on our annual roadmap. And by doing so, we increase the performance, of course, of our platform. But it's also really important to realize that when we're able to increase performance and do so at X factors at a time, we're reducing the cost of training, we're reducing the cost of inferencing, we're reducing the cost of AI, so that it could be much more accessible. But the other factor that's very important to note is that when there's a data center of some fixed size, and a data center always is of some fixed size, it could be, of course, tens of megawatts in the past, and now it's, most data centers are now 100 megawatts to several hundred megawatts, and we're planning on gigawatt data centers. It doesn't really matter how large the data centers are. The power is limited. And when you're in the power limited data center, the highest performance per watt translates directly into the highest revenues for our partners. And so on the one hand, our annual roadmap reduces cost. But on the other hand, because our perf per watt is so good compared to anything out there, we generate for our customers the greatest possible revenues. And so that annual rhythm is really important to us, and we have every intentions of continuing to do that. And everything's on track as far as I know.
Your next question comes from the line of Timothy Arcuri of UBS. Your line is open.
Thanks a lot. I'm wondering if you can talk about the trajectory of how Blackwell is going to ramp this year. I know, Jensen, you did just talk about Blackwell being better than I think you had said several billions of dollars in January. Sounds like you're going to do more than that. But I think in recent months also you said that Blackwell crosses over Hopper in the April quarter. So I guess I had two questions. First of all, is that still the right way to think about it, that Blackwell will cross over Hopper in April? And then, Colette, you kind of talked about Blackwell bringing down gross margin to the low, to the low 70s as it ramps. So I guess if April is the crossover, is that the worst of the pressure on gross margin? So you're going to be kind of in the low 70s as soon as April. I'm just wondering if you can sort of shape that for us. Thanks.
Why don't you start?
Sure. Let me first start with your question, Tim. Thank you, regarding our gross margins. And we discussed that our gross margins, as we are ramping Blackwell in the very beginning, and the many different configurations, the many different chips that we are bringing to market, we are going to focus on making sure we have the best experience for our customers as they stand that up. We will start growing into our gross margins, but we do believe those will be in the low 70s in that first part of the ramp. So you're correct. As you look at the quarters following after that, we will start increasing our gross margins, and we hope to get to the mid 70s quite quickly as part of that ramp.
Hopper demand will continue through next year, surely the first several quarters of the next year. And meanwhile, we'll ship more Blackwells next quarter than this, and we'll ship more Blackwells the quarter after that than our first quarter. And so that kind of puts it in perspective. We are really at the beginnings of two fundamental shifts in computing that is really quite significant. The first is moving from coding that runs on CPUs to machine learning that creates neural networks that runs on GPUs. And that fundamental shift from coding to machine learning is widespread at this point. There are no companies who are not going to do machine learning. And so machine learning is also what enables generative AI. And so on the one hand, the first thing that's happening is $1 trillion worth of computing systems and data centers around the world is now being modernized for machine learning. On the other hand, secondarily, I guess, is that on top of these systems we're going to be creating a new type of capability called AI. And when we say generative AI, we're essentially saying that these data centers are really AI factories. They're generating something. Just like we generate electricity, we're now going to be generating AI. And if the number of customers is large, just as the number of consumers of electricity is large, these generators are going to be running 24/7. And today, many AI services are running 24/7, just like an AI factory. And so we're going to see this new type of system come online, and I call it an AI factory because that's really as close to what it is. It's unlike a data center of the past. And so these two fundamental trends are really just beginning. And so we expect this to happen, this growth, this modernization and the creation of a new industry, to go on for several years.
Your next question comes from the line of Vivek Arya of Bank of America Securities. Your line is open.
Thanks for taking my question. Colette, just to clarify, do you think it's a fair assumption to think Nvidia could recover to kind of mid-70s gross margin in the back half of calendar 25? Just wanted to clarify that. And then, Jensen, my main question, historically, when we have seen hardware deployment cycles, they have inevitably included some digestion along the way. When do you think we get to that phase, or is it just too premature to discuss that because you're just at the start of Blackwell? So how many quarters of shipments do you think is required to kind of satisfy this first wave? Can you continue to grow this into calendar 26? Just how should we be prepared to see what we have seen historically, right? The periods of digestion along the way of a long-term kind of secular hardware deployment.
Okay. Vivek, thank you for the question. Let me clarify your question regarding gross margins. Could we reach the mid-70s in the second half of next year? And yes, I think it is reasonable assumption or a goal for us to do, but we'll just have to see how that mix of ramp goes. But yes, it is definitely possible.
The way to think through that, Vivek, is I believe that there will be no digestion until we modernize $1 trillion worth of data centers. If you just look at the world's data centers, the vast majority of it is built for a time when we wrote applications by hand and we ran them on CPUs. It's just not a sensible thing to do anymore. If every company's CapEx, if they're ready to build a data center tomorrow, they ought to build it for a future of machine learning and generative AI, because they have plenty of old data centers. And so what's going to happen over the course of next, X number of years, and let's assume that over the course of 4 years, the world's data centers could be modernized as we grow into IT. As you know, IT continues to grow about 20-30% a year, let's say. And so, let's say by 2030, the world's data centers for computing is call it a couple $1 trillion. We have to grow into that. We have to modernize the data center from coding to machine learning. That's number one. The second part of it is generative AI, and we're now producing a new type of capability that the world's never known, a new market segment that the world's never had. If you look at OpenAI, it didn't replace anything. It's something that's completely brand new. It's in a lot of ways, as when the iPhone came, it was completely brand new. It wasn't really replacing anything, and so we're going to see more and more companies like that, and they're going to create and generate out of their services essentially intelligence. Some of it would be digital artist intelligence, like Runway. Some of it would be basic intelligence, like OpenAI. Some of it would be legal intelligence, like Harvey. Digital marketing intelligence, like Writers. So on and so forth. And the number of these companies, what are they called? AI native companies are just in hundreds. And almost every platform shift. There were internet companies, as you recall. There were cloud-first companies. There were mobile-first companies. Now they're AI natives. And so these companies are being created because people see that there's a platform shift and there's a brand new opportunity to do something completely new. And so my sense is that we're going to continue to build out, to modernize IT, modernize computing, number one, and then number two, create these AI factories that are going to be for a new industry for the production of artificial intelligence.
Your next question comes from the line of Stacy Rasgon of Bernstein Research. Your line is open.
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my questions. Colette, I had a clarification and a question for you. The clarification, just when you say low 70s gross margins, is 73.5 count as low 70s, or do you have something else in mind? And for my question, you're guiding total revenues, and so I mean total data center revenues in the next quarter must be up, quote unquote, several $billion. But it sounds like Blackwell now should be up more than that. But you also said Hopper was still strong. So is Hopper down sequentially next quarter? And if it is, why? Is it because of the supply constraints? China's been pretty strong. Is China kind of rolling off a bit into Q4? So any color you can give us on sort of the Blackwell ramp and the Blackwell versus Hopper behavior into Q4 would be really helpful. Thank you.
So first, starting on your first question there, Stacy, regarding our gross margin and define low. Low, of course, is below the mids, and let's say we might be at 71, maybe about 72, 72 and a half. We're going to be in that range. We could be higher than that as well. We're just going to have to see how it comes through. We do want to make sure that we are ramping and continuing that improvement, the improvement in terms of our yields, the improvement in terms of the product as we go through the rest of the year. So we'll get up to the mid 70s by that point. The second statement was a question regarding our Hopper and what is our Hopper doing. We have seen substantial growth for H200, not only in terms of orders, but the quickness in terms of those that are standing that up. It is an amazing product, and it's the fastest growing and ramping that we've seen. We will continue to be selling Hopper in this quarter, in Q4 for sure. That is across the board in terms of all of our different configurations, and our configurations include what we may do in terms of China. But keep that in mind that folks are also at the same time looking to build out their Blackwell. So we've got a little bit of both happening in Q4. But yes, is it possible for Hopper to grow between Q3 and Q4? It's possible, but we'll just have to see.
Your next question comes from the line of Joseph Moore of Morgan Stanley. Your line is open.
Great, thank you. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what you're seeing in the inference market. You've talked about Strawberry and some of the ramifications of longer scaling inference projects, but you've also talked about the possibility that as some of these Hopper clusters age, that you could use some of the Hopper latent chips for inference. So, I guess, do you expect inference to outgrow training in the next kind of 12-month time frame, and just generally your thoughts there?
Our hopes and dreams is that someday the world does a ton of inference, and that's when AI has really succeeded. Is when every single company is doing inference inside their companies for the marketing department and forecasting department and supply chain group and their legal department and engineering, of course, and coding, of course, and so we hope that every company is doing inference 24/7, and that there will be a whole bunch of AI native startups, thousands of AI native startups that are generating tokens and generating AI, and every aspect of your computer experience, from using Outlook to PowerPointing, or when you're sitting there with Excel, you're constantly generating tokens. And every time you read a PDF, open a PDF, it generated a whole bunch of tokens. One of my favorite applications is Notebook LM. This Google application that came out. I use the living daylights out of it just because it's fun, And I put every PDF, every archive paper into it just to listen to it, as well as scanning through it. And so I think that's the goal, is to train these models so that people use it. And there's now a whole new era of AI, if you will, a whole new genre of AI called physical AI. Just as large language models understand the human language and the thinking process, if you will. Physical AI understands the physical world, and it understands the meaning of the structure, and understands what's sensible and what's not, and what could happen and what won't. And not only does it understand, but it can predict roll out a short future. That capability is incredibly valuable for industrial AI and robotics, and so that's fired up so many AI native companies and robotics companies and physical AI companies that you're probably hearing about, and it's really the reason why we built Omniverse. Omniverse is so that we can enable these AIs to be created and learn in Omniverse and learn from synthetic data generation and reinforcement learning physics feedback instead of human feedback. It's now physics feedback. To have these capabilities, Omniverse was created so that we can enable physical AI. And so that the goal is to generate tokens. The goal is to inference, and we're starting to see that growth happening. So I'm super excited about that. Now, let me just say one more thing. Inference is super hard. And the reason why inference is super hard is because you need the accuracy to be high on the one hand. You need the throughput to be high so that the cost could be as low as possible, but you also need the low latency to be low. And computers that are high throughput as well as low latency is incredibly hard to build. And these applications have long context lengths because they want to understand, they want to be able to inference within understanding the context of what they're being asked to do. And so the context length is growing larger and larger. On the other hand, the models are getting larger. They're multimodality. Just the number of dimensions that inference is innovating is incredible. And this innovation rate is what makes NVIDIA's architecture so great, because our ecosystem is fantastic. Everybody knows that if they innovate on top of CUDA and on top of NVIDIA's architecture, they can innovate more quickly, and they know that everything should work. And if something were to happen, it's probably likely their code and not ours. And so that ability to innovate in every single direction at the same time, having a large installed base so that whatever you create could land on an NVIDIA computer and be deployed broadly all around the world in every single data center, all the way out to the edge, into robotic systems. That capability is really quite phenomenal.
Your next question comes from the line of Aaron Rakers of Wells Fargo. Your line is open.
Yeah, thanks for taking the question. I wanted to ask you, as we kind of focus on the Blackwell cycle and think about the data center business, when I look at the results this last quarter, Colette, you mentioned that obviously the networking business was down about 15% sequentially, but then your comments were that you were seeing very strong demand. You mentioned also that you had multiple cloud, CSP design wins for these large scale clusters. So I'm curious if you could unpack what's going on in the networking business and where maybe you've seen some constraints and just your confidence in the pace of Spectrum X progressing to that multiple billions of dollars that you previously had talked about. Thank you.
Let's first start with the networking. The growth year over year is tremendous. And our focus since the beginning of our acquisition of Mellanox has really been about building together the work that we do in terms of in the data center. The networking is such a critical part of that. Our ability to sell our networking with many of our systems that we are doing in data center is continuing to grow and do quite well. So this quarter is just a slight dip down, and we're going to be right back up in terms of growing. They're getting ready for Blackwell and more systems that will be using not only our existing networking, but also the networking that is going to be incorporated in a lot of these large systems that we are providing them to.
Your next question comes from the line of Atif Malik of Citi. Your line is open.
Thank you for taking my question. I have two quick ones for Colette. Colette, on the last earnings call, you mentioned that sovereign demand is in low double-digit billions. Can you provide an update on that? And then can you explain the supply constraint situation in gaming? Is that because you're shifting your supply towards data center?
So first, starting in terms of sovereign AI, such an important part of growth, something that has really surfaced with the onset of generative AI and building models in the individual countries around the world. And we see a lot of them, and we talked about a lot of them in the call today, and the work that they are doing. So our sovereign AI and our pipeline going forward is still absolutely intact, as those are working to build these foundational models in their own language, in their own culture, and working in terms of the enterprises within those countries. And I think you'll continue to see this be a growth opportunities that you may see with our regional clouds that are being stood up, and or those that are focusing in terms of AI factories for many parts of the sovereign AI. This is areas where this is growing not only in terms of in Europe, but you're also seeing this in terms of growth in terms of in the Asia Pac as well. Let me flip to your second question that you asked regarding gaming. So our gaming right now from a supply, we're busy trying to make sure that we can ramp all of our different products. And in this case, our gaming supply, given what we saw selling through, was moving quite fast. Now, the challenge that we have is how fast could we get that supply getting ready into the market for this quarter. Not to worry, I think we'll be back on track with more supply as we turn the corner into the new calendar year. We're just going to be tight for this quarter.
Your next question comes from the line of Ben Reitzes of Melius Research. Your line is open.
Yeah, hi. Thanks a lot for the question. I wanted to ask Colette and Jensen, with regard to sequential growth. So very strong sequential growth this quarter, and you're guiding to about 7%. Do your comments on Blackwell imply that we reaccelerate from there as you get more supply? In the first half, it would seem that there would be some catch up. So I was wondering how prescriptive you could be there. And then Jensen, just overall, with the change in administration that's going to take place here in the U.S. and the China situation, have you gotten any sense or any conversations about, tariffs or anything with regard to your China business? Any sense of what may or may not go on? It's probably too early, but wondering if you had any thoughts there. Thanks so much.
We guide one quarter at a time.
We are working right now on the quarter that we're in and building what we need to ship in terms of Blackwell. We have every supplier on the planet working seamlessly with us to do that. And once we get to next quarter, we'll help you understand in terms of that ramp that we'll see to the next quarter going after that.
Whatever the new administration decides, we will of course support the administration, and that's the highest mandate. And then after that, do the best we can, and just as we always do. And so we have to simultaneously, and we will comply with any regulation that comes along fully, and support our customers to the best of our abilities, and compete in the marketplace. We'll do all of these three things simultaneously.
Your final question comes from the line of Pierre Ferragu of New Street Research. Your line is open.
Hey, thanks for taking my question. Jensen, you mentioned in your comments, you have the pre-trainings, the actual language models, and you have reinforcement learning that becomes more and more important in training and in inference as well. And then you have inference itself. And I was wondering if you have a sense, like a high-level typical sense of out of an overall AI ecosystem, like maybe one of your clients or one of the large models that are out there today, how much of the compute goes into each of these buckets? How much for the pre-training, how much for the reinforcement, and how much into inference today? Do you have any sense for how it's splitting and where the growth is the most important as well?
Well, today it's vastly in pre-training of foundation model because, as you know, post-training, the new technologies are just coming online, and whatever you could do in pre-training and post-training, you would try to do so that the inference cost could be as low as possible for everyone. However, there are only so many things that you could do a priori, and so you'll always have to do on-the-spot thinking and in-context thinking and reflection. And so I think that the fact that all three are scaling is actually very sensible based on where we are. And in the area of foundation model, now we have multimodality foundation models, and the amount of petabytes of video that these foundation models are going to be trained on is incredible. And so my expectation is that for the foreseeable future, we're going to be scaling pre-training, post-training, as well as inference time scaling, and which is the reason why I think we're going to need more and more compute, and we're going to have to drive as hard as we can to keep increasing the performance by X factors at a time, so that we can continue to drive down the cost and continue to increase their revenues and get the AI revolution going. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'll turn the call back over to Jensen Huang for closing remarks.
Thank you. The tremendous growth in our business is being fueled by two fundamental trends that are driving global adoption of NVIDIA computing. First, the computing stack is undergoing a reinvention, a platform shift, from coding to machine learning, from executing code on CPUs to processing neural networks on GPUs. The $1 trillion install base of traditional data center infrastructure is being rebuilt for Software 2.0, which applies machine learning to produce AI. Second, the age of AI is in full steam. Generative AI is not just a new software capability, but a new industry with AI factories manufacturing digital intelligence, a new industrial revolution that can create a multi-trillion-dollar AI industry. Demand for Hopper and anticipation for Blackwell, which is now in full production, are incredible for several reasons. There are more foundation model makers now than there were a year ago. The computing scale of pre-training and post-training continues to grow exponentially. There are more AI native startups than ever, and the number of successful inference services is rising. And with the introduction of ChatGPT 01, OpenAI 01, a new scaling law called test time scaling has emerged. All of these consume a great deal of computing. AI is transforming every industry, company, and country. Enterprises are adopting agentic AI to revolutionize workflows. Over time, AI coworkers will assist employees in performing their jobs faster and better. Investments in industrial robotics are surging due to breakthroughs in physical AI, driving new training infrastructure demand as researchers train world foundation models on petabytes of video and omniverse synthetically generated data. The age of robotics is coming. Countries across the world recognize the fundamental AI trends we are seeing and have awakened to the importance of developing their national AI infrastructure. The age of AI is upon us, and it's large and diverse. NVIDIA's expertise, scale, and ability to deliver full stack and full infrastructure let us serve the entire multi-trillion-dollar AI and robotics opportunities ahead. From every hyperscale cloud, enterprise private cloud, to sovereign regional AI clouds, on-prem to industrial edge and robotics. Thanks for joining us today, and catch up next time.
This can You may now disconnect.
All right, guys. So that is the end of Nvidia's earnings call, man. Honestly, I'm not going to say I got it exactly right, but I told you guys, I guess, that they were going to beat EPS, beat revenue, come in better than expected, but maintain choppiness. And that's precisely what we've shown on the Nvidia chart. We really haven't done much. We've been pretty flat. This is a pretty underwhelming earnings report, guys. Pretty underwhelming earnings report. Again, we'll see what happens, but not the craziest moves in markets that I've seen, and not the craziest moves. Again, we'll see what happens. Tomorrow we have jobless claims, unemployment filings dropping at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Tune in, hit the subscribe button. Also, guys, we still got 2,000 people here. Listen, I need 250 subs to break 150K. If I don't hit it today, I'm probably going to at least hit it tomorrow, but I would love to hit it right now. 250 of you guys, listen, try it once. It might feel good. Listen, everything I do here is free. I don't charge for anything. I'm constantly honest with people about everything, including my own trading skills and everything like that. If you want a one-stop shop where we cover economic reports, CPI, inflation, Jerome Powell, FOMC decisions, earnings, the biggest earnings reports, we stream the full call and report live. Just a one-stop shop for you to tune in. Hit the subscribe button. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. Also, if you want to check out one of our sponsors, check out TopStep. TopStep is the most legit funded program in the world. It really is just a great way to learn how to day trade. If you hear people telling you to day trade or wanting you to day trade, if you fund your own money, you're probably going to lose it. You fund 5K of your own money, you're probably going to lose it, right? What TopStep does is they limit that risk. They give you kind of a middle ground. You're still risking something, but you're not risking thousands, risking $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 like most new day traders end up doing. So what they do is they give you a demo and they test your skill with it first. The base one's 50K demo. It's only $49 a month. If you pass it by making 3K without losing 2K, they fund you this amount with a 90% split. So that's pretty similar to putting the money up yourself in terms of split, 10% difference. But if you lose, instead of losing the whole shebang, you only lose what you pay for it. In this case, $49. And they've paid out over 125 million since 2020. Fund thousands and thousands of accounts, been around for 12 years. In the futures market, you could day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies. Patterns are super similar to blue chip stock patterns. And if you look at like the NASDAQ and then you look at Nvidia, they're shockingly similar. Shockingly similar. Look, here is where Nvidia earnings came out right here. Look at this. Downward pressure, choppiness. Downward pressure, choppiness. Shockingly similar. And you can day trade this left one in futures, no PDT rule on TopStep. And if you do sign up, use TopStep X, 0 commissions on TopStep X. They're an affiliate or sponsor of mine. I'm biased because they pay me money. Understand CFTC 4.41, hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations, guys. Remember, I'm terrible, have no idea what I'm talking about, might be biased, might trade off stream. You're not going to see all my trades. There's the link if you want to check it out. I appreciate the love, guys. We got a ton of people here. We got almost 7,000 concurrent viewers when the earnings report dropped. 7,000 of you guys showed up. Thanks so much. I appreciate the love. I'm sorry for my mic breaking, but we'll order a new mic. Really, it's the cord of the mic, which I'm going to unplug right now. If I forget and use the wrong cord, which is right here, I don't know if y'all can see it. If I forget and use this cord, it's all kind of choppy and bad. So I'll just disconnect this cord all completely together and it'll stop disconnecting me. But yeah. If you haven't already, again, I love you all. You'll have a great day. Hit the subscribe button. Jobless claims, unemployment filings drop it tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We'll see if we get anything good. Yeah, now we need less than 200 subs. So we got a little 50 subs right there. Listen, thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it. The real question here, guys, so we did a poll. I'm going to do one more poll, and I'm going to stick around and let, some votes come in. Does Nvidia gap up or down tomorrow morning in pre-market? Gap up, gap down is going to be the two options. Vote on this poll. I really want to see what you guys are going to think. Vote on that poll. There's the poll right there. Let me know what you guys think. That is the evil empire. Yeah, honestly, bro, I don't know how their CFO, honestly, the mic makes her sound old. If you look at Nvidia CFO, this is who it is, right? I imagined an old lady, right? Like a grandmother, if you will, is what I imagined. I imagined a grandmother because of her cell phone, right? So this is why impressions are important, all right? Nvidia, you're the largest tech company in the world. Fix your freaking microphone here. You had Colette over here sounding like freaking my Mimi. Okay? come on now, do better. Nvidia, do better. Coming from somebody with the top 3 worst mic of all time. Yeah. No, I did. Honestly, Charity, I had the same thought process. During the call, I was like, I'm going to Google this. I want to see if this lady's as old as I think she is. And I Googled it, and I was like, hey, this lady's not old at all. Shocking, you know. Bad Mike will do it, I guess. I bought the dip. Honestly, you got to wonder if they would have been up if it wasn't for that mic. Again, what it sounded like to me was that she had the phone on speakerphone, right? It sounded like she was on speakerphone and like there was a slight echo because of the speakerphone. I don't know if that's what it was or not, but that's what it sounded like, right? It sounded like there was like a slight echo from like just from the echo from the speakerphone is what it sounded like it was. Let me know what you guys think it was too. Yeah, I mean, listen, another thing I want to talk about now is every major Nvidia earnings report, people tell me the market's going to crash. People tell me Nvidia is going to crash. People put out all these outlandish things. Like, you know, one of the common characteristics of when the market crashes, does anybody know what one of the most common characteristics? Nobody freaking knows it's going to happen. And so if a majority of people are out here telling me that Nvidia is about to crash during its earnings call, guess what? It probably ain't about to crash during its earnings call. Like, stop jumping on the bandwagon. I know you might have missed out on 50% market the last 2 years, and you might be kind of mad about it. But stop over-predicting crashes. When do you learn? Einstein's definition of insanity is continuously trying the same thing, expecting a different result. Predicting market crashes every Nvidia earnings report, every FOMC meeting, every CPI inflation report. It hasn't turned out very well for most of you guys out here predicting crashes. I can honestly see some of them lash out in the chat. They're just so angry. They seem so upset. I mean, let it out, guys. Listen. In the end, market crashes are super rare, very difficult to predict, and you're probably not going to predict it. Anyways. No, I saw a lot of people telling me the market was going to crash, that it was overextended, that it was, you know, all this different stuff. Yeah, we broke 1.1 thousand likes. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Again, tomorrow, jobless claims, unemployment filings. You know, we need less than 200 subscribers now, so I'm wondering if we're going to break that tomorrow. We might. We got over 40 something. We got almost 50,000 views for this live stream too. So, shout out to you guys. We'll be back tomorrow, bright and early. Next week's actually a pretty busy week market wise as well. Like next week, we have the Fed minutes report on Tuesday. We got CB consumer confidence on Tuesday. We got jobless claims, durable goods, GDP data, PCE inflation data all Wednesday on the 27th. Wednesday the 27th to get jobless claims, durable goods, GDP data, PCE inflation data all next Wednesday on the 27th. We got the Fed minutes report on Tuesday the 26th. We got CB consumer confidence there. The market's closed on Thursday. And so, yeah. Nvidia hasn't moved at all, guys. It just hasn't moved. Look, let me look at our poll. We did our poll. I'm genuinely curious to see what we get here. So we got about, let's see, 300 votes so far. 67% of you guys think that Nvidia is going to gap up tomorrow. And again, just to clarify here, when something gaps up, it's over the previous closing price, which is this line right here, right around 146. That's right around where we closed, right around 146 a share. And so when we say Nvidia is going to gap up, that's what we're talking about, is over this specific level here. Colette is 57. Well, she's using it. She looks like my driver's license, bro. My driver's license, if you look at my driver's license, I'm in my 30s, right? But if you look at my driver's license, it's young 20-something-year-old John, right? No, beardless John, too. I look like this in my driver's license picture. I honestly have had people think it wasn't me. You know, if you look at the chat, I look like this in my driver's license. And so, you know, I'm not going to say it's a catfish, but hey. Anyways, listen, I love you all. Y'all have a great day. The report was good. BDPSB revenue, honestly, Nvidia just holding its gains at this point in time. I've said this for months and months now. Nvidia just holding its gains is an optimistic view of it. I want it to hold its gains. It's up so much, though. It's up 1,000%. So Nvidia just holding its gains is a great sign. Great sign. And so we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. What's her net worth? I'm married, by the way, so I'm not looking at it like that. I'm just curious now because you guys are all interested in her. Not a lot of information. Estimated net worth is $814 million as of November 16th. 814 million, dude. They need to hire me as CFO. 800 million. She's almost a billionaire. Wow. All right, guys. Can Ant-Man come back from the future with the results? Put me in her will. More. She's definitely worth more than me. That's for sure. Hey, good luck, Tommy. I'm rooting for you, brother. You know, get your in. You know, I'm supporting you. All right, guys. Hey, I love you all. Y'all have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow. Jobless claims, unemployment filings. I'll see you guys tomorrow bright and early. Hit the subscribe button. Do it now. Later, guys. Have a great day.